It's a new year. It's a new podcast. It's a new host. That's right. Jan Ochoa gone here and forevermore. Jeff Backlar. That's me. Welcome to the Giant Bombcast. I'm kidding. Jan's a little under the weather, and I'm taking over for him today. So don't you worry. Jan will be back by March, the earliest, right? Don't worry about it. Welcome to a brand new year. Happy New Year, ladies and gentlemen, and amazing everyone who is tuned in to this very special episode, the first of the year, some call it, the Giant Bombcast. I'm Jeff Backlar. I'm joined by a trio of generally good people. Dan Reichert, how are you?
I am doing great.
Good. Jeff Grubb, what is up with you? You are Mr. Producer Man today. How you doing?
I'm doing good. There's a 2022 on the screen, and that's messing everybody up. So I'm going to cover up with some text here that says 2024 instead, using the text tool in OBS.
Thanks, bro.
Yep, I'm here for you.
Very good work. Thank you, Jeff Grubb. Turbo Sean is here as well. How are you christening 2024 with us, sir?
Trying to wrap my head around DHL is an American-founded German logistics company. I don't know how that. I still don't know what that means. I'm not going to read any more on the Wikipedia page.
You attempting to besmirch the good name of DHL?
I'm just like, Grubb was adamant that's like a German company. I'm like, yeah, that sounds right. And then I'm like, American-founded German logistics. How does that work?
Now,
yes. So they outsource their German logistics to America, as you do.
Well, I think you do it the other way. You get the money, comes to America. The logistics happen in Germany. That's what you would want, right? I would think.
Yeah. Okay. Now to this college dropout, would you mind explaining in layman's terms what that means?
Oh, which part? Okay. Well, listen. It's like when a person from America is like, "Hey, we want to start a shipping company, but we're going to base it out of a different country because the in the United States it's already completely saturated by FedEx and UPS."
Oh,
and so,
it's like a Swiss bank account. Okay,
sure,
I got it. I got it.
It's more above board than that.
They probably just figured they could do a hub in Germany and that would make it easier. But I'm guessing here, so I don't know.
Okay.
I'm going to ignore that right as we were going on the air, Alex Navarro and somebody else joined this Discord call, and we're just sitting there like as we were going on the air.
Oh, did they really?
That was weird. Yeah. I looked down and see Alex Navarro pop up. I'm like,
that happened once before. So I was trying to get some people to join for that first Mortal Kombat when I was playing through the Mortal Kombat stories. And in the chat for this room that we use in Discord, I went at everyone, realizing
that's what I did.
Not realizing that when people go to check that notification, it makes them join the audio call. And so I'm like,
notification
by clicking on it.
Yeah, so you click the notification,
wow.
and it'll take you right into the call. And I was like, wait, Alex Navarro, hey, you don't have to be here. You can go do your own job if you want.
You don't work here anymore.
Listen. I want to do it again then.
Backlar, no, it's bad form.
I want to do it again.
Get him in here, Navarro.
We're fishing. This is fishing. Nick, right? It's
like Nicky out of nowhere.
I worry we're bringing Alex in. We're all going to get new Blight Club games if Alex comes in, I think.
Yeah, that's right. We got to be very careful with that. Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh, man. What dangerous power we are wielding in the palm of our hands.
I know.
How's everyone doing? Happy New Year to you all.
Same.
I don't really care much about this holiday, but it feels good to say it. So Happy New Year. That's right. That's right, everyone. New Jeff, new 2024, new year. I'm going to like everything.
Whoa. Except for New Year's.
Except for New Year's.
The first thing you did do.
Starting great here.
Basically, the first words of the new year was, I don't care about this shit.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be nice about it.
Seems at odds with the new attitude.
Fair. I'm gonna walk it back. This is me walking it back, and I'm gonna say I'm just gonna be more honest about everything now.
Okay. That's cool. I can accept that.
Seems like a better on-brand.
We're like 5 minutes into the first Bombcast of the year, and we're walking stuff back. This is a great start, guys.
Yeah.
No regrets.
I've drank from a billion kegs in my life, but I've never gotten one myself. And so I got a keg for a New Year's party I had here. And that meant I had to try to tap it. And so it's in my kitchen.
Should have streamed that.
I put the YouTube tutorial. I talked to the guy at the store for a while, like, how do I do this? Act like you're talking to a 5-year-old and walk me through everything because I don't want this to explode. And so he showed me everything, and I took it home. I still put up a YouTube tutorial just to be safe, and I'm step by step, like frame by frame, almost following this thing, and it fucking explodes all over me. Like 2 hours before the party, we had a painting up there. It's on like shoot paint, like got beer on it and everything. It just exploded all over the fucking kitchen, all over me. So I'm just reeking of beer as soon as guests started showing up, and it's all over the kitchen.
Hell yeah.
Not getting that deposit back.
Do you know like what was the failure point? Like what was
I did
what went
something
wrong?
stupid. I don't know. Adults. The Tim Turry showed up later, and he was able to do it like an adult. But yeah.
Like that. I mean, I haven't done it in many, many years, but I don't remember it being brain surgery by any stretch.
It's just that you touch this little thing, and if there's any pressure on it, if it's not immediately locked in, it just fucking explodes like the old like vinegar baking soda volcanoes.
I like those vinegar baking soda volcanoes.
Big mark for those. Yeah,
absolutely. They're like, make a science project. I'm like, I'm just gonna do that again. That was great.
Every year.
Yeah, for real. Every year I would have done it if they would have let me. Yeah.
So you had a good New Year's with that aside? Smelling like beer?
It was great. It was awesome. I was watching Gremlins 2 at 5 a.m. So yeah, it went great.
Oh, is that a thing? Like you were like, not only am I staying up till midnight, I am staying up till sunrise.
No, it was like 2. It was like 1 or 2 a.m. by the point that I have a gremlin in my room here, and it's like one of the full size like gremlins. And somebody, a friend of mine, was like, "Oh, I've never seen the second one." I was like, "What?" And I literally was like running around the party, like, "All right, who's in for the late night Gremlins crew? We're doing Gremlins 2." And so at like 3:30 a.m., I think we started Gremlins 2 and watched it, and it was fantastic.
God, we define fun so differently.
It was great.
We have such different ideas of what fun can be.
Wait, new Jeff loves Gremlins 2, right?
That's right. Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
He's being very truthful.
Being honest, it's my honesty arc. It's my honesty
half
arc.
of this podcast has not seen Gremlins 2. That's good enough.
Yeah,
Good
it's
enough.
my honesty arc. I haven't seen it.
I can't stress enough how important that is to cinema.
Honesty arc. Haven't seen it. Don't care that much for the first one.
No, I don't even really care about the first one.
And I realized the joke is like the second one was like, hey, what if we just made this and didn't give a shit? I know. Like,
yes, and that's why that one's awesome and the first one's fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
I watched Home Alone with my child for the first time last night, and still unsure if that was a mistake.
Do you think he's going to get ideas?
Well, he's either going to go two ways.
Get ideas. He does seem like
Dib would get ideas.
Yeah.
He's going to go one of maybe 3 ways. One, he's like, oh, a career in a home invasion, now a possibility. Number 2, he's going to like think all criminals are as dumb as Marvin Harry.
They mostly are.
Just be like, I can defend my home. Or 3, he's just going to be completely taken over and obsessed with just being robbed all the time, which I guess is a thing that happened to people who saw that movie when they were really young.
Oh, really? It never even really occurred to me as a kid. I watched that movie and be like, that's a fantasy. That doesn't happen.
Exactly. Like that movie came out when I was Dib's age and I saw it in the theater, and I never once was like, wait a minute, this is potentially scary. Like it didn't even occur to me.
Yeah.
It was always just like, oh, these are the 2 biggest fucking idiots ever. And they probably should have died by now.
Not wrong.
Well, they clearly are. They're immortal. They cannot be killed. So that's a big benefit for them.
I do have a new conspiracy theory about Home Alone that I'd like to unleash to the world.
New Jeff is a big conspiracy theory guy in 2024.
Well, hey, buckle up, because
he did invite me to his party in 4 days from now. Today being January 2nd. So yeah, that was
okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's the holiday Backlar cares
that's
about.
His favorite. That's what he's looking forward to. New Year's, January 6th is where it's at for Backlar.
Hey, Mr. Slate's allowed to talk about whatever the fuck he wants to, okay? Let me ask you folks who have seen Home Alone. Do you ever recall seeing Kevin's room in that house?
No,
where's the fucking house?
It's mostly like common areas, and then when he's doing the bathroom stuff, he's in like the master bathroom, right?
Where's his fucking room?
Okay,
Where's this kid live?
when they're packing his bag at the very beginning, is that his room, or are they in the mom's room at that point?
No, that's the mom's room. The first scene is in the master bedroom.
Yeah, he goes to everyone else to ask for help for packing.
Right.
Yeah.
He doesn't live in the attic. The attic is clearly a guest room. It's clearly some sort of
he got
overflow
sent
room.
to the attic, right? Didn't he get
as punishment?
Right.
She does, like Catherine O'Hara's not like, go up to your room.
Yeah.
She says, go up to the scary, creepy attic where we don't want to fucking look at you anymore.
Yeah.
I
Back
guess
to your
they just
hole.
didn't bother. They probably just didn't bother making that set because if you're only going to show up for like the opening scene, because he's spending the rest of the movie everywhere else,
No,
why
Sean.
bother?
No,
Oh.
Sean.
Oh, no.
Oh, the conspiracy theory has come.
Kevin is a ghost.
It's a Sixth Sense situation.
They can't all be ghosts, Backlar. You say this about every movie.
Okay, he's not a ghost. He's
An angel.
He's an angel baby in the dream of Catherine O'Hara while she's on the polka truck.
Sure.
with John
Okay.
Candy.
Well, yeah. Listen, whatever happens
What's
on
the
the polka
movie where he
truck.
dies of bee stings?
My girl.
My girl.
So maybe that's the prequel. As
Oh,
he
so
dies
in
from
the
the bee.
moment that he's dying in
Yeah.
My Girl, he hallucinates all of Home Alone and Home Alone 2.
There we go. Yes. Yes.
I'm sorry, but this disturbed me in a very big way. Also,
Because he doesn't have a bedroom that you saw.
I looked over and I go to Stacey. I'm like, where's this fucking kid's bedroom? Like, this is the biggest house in
I
Chicago.
haven't seen it, so it doesn't exist. That's
And
how
she's
I
like,
do
you know
things.
what? Husband of mine, you're onto something here.
Oh, no, she humored you.
And we haven't slept since. So, I mean, we're getting down to the gritty details.
I like Home Alone a lot. Those are some good movies.
I do too.
It's a
really
good one.
Yeah.
It's really good. I love fucking The Old Man.
You love
I feel
fucking
like
old man. I'm sorry, it's New Year. I'm
said
sorry.
no fucking
Here we
old
go.
man.
Let's
The
go.
God, so we got that recorded, right? We got a vocal
Old
file
man.
of that.
Oh, that's a clip
okay,
now,
good.
yeah.
Okay, good.
Fantastic.
Why do I speak? The Old Man, who literally does nothing to help himself. He's like the creepiest looking motherfucker ever. He knows there's rumors going around about him, yet he continues to drag a metal trash can around, being as creepy as possible, not saying a word, being all bloody and fucked up. Right.
Backlar.
And it's not until they're in the church where he's like, "Hey, I'm actually normal." It's
Backlar,
pretty
come on.
hilarious.
If there was stories about you in the neighborhood, you wouldn't play them up. Come on.
Oh, I know what that's about, baby.
Mm.
You're damn right I played that shit. He's not just shy. He has every opportunity to say hi to Kevin. Get out of here. Also, it pisses me off that like Catherine O'Hara's like, I have to just go home again. Right. And meanwhile, everyone gets home the same time she does. She spends $1 million to like hitchhike across the United States and get back. And everyone shows up the same time. I'm just like, oh, what a waste of fucking money.
That's
the
the old
concern.
man watching Home Alone.
What a waste of fucking money.
This is like when people are like, Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark, everything would happen just fine without him. I'm like, yeah, that's not the point of stories. That's not what it's about. No one's keeping score. Like, what are you talking about, people?
I'm balancing the checkbooks here. Okay?
Except for Backlar. Backlar's keeping score.
Okay, last Home Alone trivia. True or false, they really do put a tarantula on Daniel Stern's face.
Oh,
I said true.
I would say true.
I'd
I
assume
bet
they
he'd be
would.
game for that.
Everyone thought they didn't, but they did. It's absolutely true. Yeah.
Daniel Stern seems like
Yeah.
he's down to clown.
Oh, he was clearly down for whatever. It's like, look, you want to throw me down the stairs? Happy to do it.
Yeah.
There's
You
some
ever
really
see
good stunts
Bushwhacked?
in that movie too. Huh?
You ever see Bushwhacked? He's down for a lot of stuff in Bushwhacked. Everyone remembers Bushwhacked, right?
That's the
I do remember
wrestling thing? Is that the
Bushwhacked. I
wrestling thing?
think I saw it
Definitely not
once.
a wrestling thing. No, you're thinking of the Bushwhackers. Not everything's wrestling, Backlar. No, this is a 1995 comedy film.
Yeah, he like leads children into the woods or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and him getting his ass kicked for another like hour and a half.
Yeah.
Like, that was kind of his gimmick back then.
I mean, it's a
I
good
do
gimmick.
remember this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Daniel Stern, national treasure. There.
Yeah,
I
Oh,
said
yeah.
it.
he
100%.
he should get like some sort of lifetime achievement award at some point. I
Yeah,
think.
give him like a Kennedy Center award or do one of those. Do one of those for him.
Peabody or whatever those things are.
If you Google image search Bushwhacked, there's like 3 different posters or DVD covers for this movie, and they're all amazing. They're all like him falling or swinging and screaming.
Yeah,
And
lots
there's
of
a bear in
screaming.
one of them. This looks great. Yeah.
I mean, aside from being the voice of Kevin Arnold, he got the shit kicked out of him in a lot of movies.
Oh man, these
Good
posters
physical
are
comedian.
really good. I might get
Right?
all of them.
Giant poster of Bushwhacked.
A bigger and bigger poster of Bushwhack arrives at my house every day for a year.
Let's do it.
Well, that about sums up my holiday break. What about you all? How'd it go for you?
Sickness mostly.
Oh no!
Yeah, the kid. So I got over my sickness, and then everyone else got sick. So we were going to do a family Christmas thing, and then I'm like, well, I guess it's just me coming down. And then a few hours later, it's like everyone's getting worse. You should come home. So I got back home that night, and the little ones just keep getting sicker. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna have to go to urgent care at some point here because I think it's probably just the flu. But it's like I would like it better if you seem to be improving instead of getting worse like the day before you go back to school. So lots of that. But apparently that's everybody. I've heard a lot of people got sick over the holidays. So not just flu, a lot of COVID. Our boy Jan is dealing with sickness as well. So yeah, apparently everybody's dealing with that. So that kind of like put a dampener on my break where it's like kind of just dealing with that mostly.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
But you sound good now. Glad
Yeah,
you're
I'm doing fantastic. I'm great. Nothing's gonna kill me ever.
Speaking of nothing that'll kill you, Dan Reichert.
Yeah.
How's your break?
It was good. It was travel and getting ready for the party and all that stuff. So it felt like it was busy for a break. But I was waiting in the airport in Kansas City to come back, and my flight kept getting delayed. It got delayed like 5 hours. I'm like, God damn it! I got to sit at the Kansas City airport on my break, which it's a new airport. It's a nice airport. But I just wanted to get home so bad. But then I go to a new bar there, and they've got self-serve beer kiosks and like it's airport beers. And so it's like you go up and you just, do your Apple Pay or you can do it, swipe a credit card. And then it's like by the ounce. So it'll be like, 16 ounces of most of these beers are like $11 or $12. And then I looked around.
Yeah,
and
but
one of them,
luck.
one of them said 50 cents. And I'm looking at all of them. There's like 20 different beers, spouts. And I'm looking at all of them say 11, 12, 13. Yeah, that says 50 cents for 16 ounces. Okay, I'm not reading that wrong or anything. And it was the Sam Adams Winter Lager. And I was like, all right. And I scanned my Apple Pay and I filled it up all the way. And then I checked my my app, and it was like, yeah, you got charged 50 cents. I was like, you've got to be
hell yeah.
Wow.
So this whole I'm just playing Steam Deck. There was a 10-week-old golden retriever puppy next to me the whole time from someone else that was also on the same flight, just being adorable, this little puppy. So I'm playing Steam Deck. I'm playing Doom Eternal. I got a puppy next to me, and I'm drinking $55 worth of beer for $2.50 at the airport. And I'm like, all right, my flight's delayed. This is the way to do it. This is awesome.
Man,
Cut to Dan violently throwing up on the plane.
No, I was having a great time. It was awesome. And when I left, I paid it forward. I turned around. There was a guy next to me. I was like, hey, heads up. Go look at the price on that Sam Adams Winter Lager. And he looked at it. He's like, holy shit, thank you.
While you were sitting there, did anyone else imbibe like?
While I was sitting there, I didn't want to raise too many flags.
Right,
so
of course not. I wouldn't either.
That was my secret for like 5 hours. And then I passed it on as I left. Yeah.
Very cool.
It was awesome.
Very good.
I did try that Casey Joe's barbecue, though. We made that on Christmas Day. And hey, that's good barbecue.
Turns out it's incredible, right?
It's
and also
really good. It's got that right level of spiciness, the hot spiciness, very flavorful.
Tender as hell.
Yeah, yes. Burnt ends were tender as hell. We had the pulled pork as well. The sausage was fantastic. It's like really spicy and crispy. It was really, really good food. So
I never get the sausage. I should do that on my next order. But
really
yeah, it's
like
fucking
the sausage.
awesome.
Yes, so
huge
good.
mark for Casey Joe's.
So yeah, had it delivered like you said, and they just shipped it in like the dried ice and all that stuff, and it came perfect. And a couple of the bags did like break open, so I couldn't really boil them. But I found other ways to heat them up, and it was all good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
good food.
Can't say enough about them.
Yep.
Sean, what kind of barbecue did you eat over the break?
None. Man, how do I follow any of this up? Dan just had the best break ever. At least I didn't get sick. I will say that I wasn't sick.
There you go.
I had a very, just solid, like lazy break in the best way possible. Just got some housework done, did some spring cleaning on the computer, and then just, played some games throughout the week. I finally got a chance. I got my Steam Deck back there. Finally got a chance to set up everything on there. And so I just started playing a whole assortment of random games, some emulation stuff, some Steam stuff, some other stuff I got set up from Epic and whatnot, because they're giving out free games left and right as they do over the holidays. It was just so nice to unwind and just take some time off for me. Dinner was not nearly as exciting. I don't know what to do for Christmas dinner anymore. I kind of just repeat Thanksgiving dinner at this point, minus the cranberries.
That's what I was trying to avoid. That's why I was like, Dan's been talking about Casey Joe's. We were going to deliver it. We just left at LA, and I was like looking at the prices. I'm like, this is not bad. This is going to make a lot of sense just to have this ready to go for Christmas dinner. So I was glad to do something very different. But like a traditional Christmas dinner is I guess a lot of people do turkey still, but like spiral
basically
cut
Thanksgiving,
ham.
yeah.
It's like Thanksgiving.
Basically Thanksgiving. That's what I did. Just did ham and some stuffing because I was like, well, we still got like a box left over.
every day of the year.
Yeah.
So
So I just did that. My family has a tradition of we don't want people working too hard over the holidays. So Christmas Eve dinner is always we just order a pizza. So, I upheld that tradition, of course.
Yeah, we went to the hibachi, and that was great as well.
Oh, nice.
Yes,
love those places.
Yes, that's we do that every Christmas Eve, and that's great.
Man, I was all ready to like get on the healthy train after this, gauntlet of travel and holidays and stuff. But then for the party, we ordered 10 pizzas, but we also had like this huge spread and all this other stuff. And we had all this food before the pizzas, so like half of the pizzas got eaten, and so now I've got like 5 full ass pizzas. So this morning I just had like 6 slices of pizza immediately. It's like, all right, gotta get through this, and I can start getting healthy. Yeah.
You just eat pizza for breakfast?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Again, breakfast food. People there's some weird scam going on with breakfast. People are lying to you. Food is good any time of day. If it's good at 8 o'clock at night, it's good at 8 in the morning. I don't know what the egg industry has pulled the wool over everyone's eyes or something, but
he's 100% right.
Yeah, the big egg is everywhere.
The dairy industry is massively powerful. Yes, this is just all correct. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just kind of feel like I want that savoriness, not for breakfast, like in that way with that's all.
That's really just because you've been trained that way.
You're right. I'm in the pocket of big egg. What can I say? Yeah, I'm in the pocket of big egg. What do you? How do you freezing all that pizza, or what are you doing?
It's in the fridge, and I just air fry it.
Yeah, but I'm saying like because eventually it's gonna be in there for a while.
I can do maybe 1 or 2 more days of it, and then I'll probably toss the rest.
Eventually, so many of those pizzas are just gonna go feed the raccoons. Yeah.
Don't be afraid to freeze pizza. Don't be afraid.
Oh no, it's great for that. But I also had, as part of the spread, Bonk made all this like incredible food and made cakes and all this big charcuterie spread and everything. And my contribution was a little plate of Oreos and nacho cheese, and I made a bunch of people try it, and almost universally thumbs up.
It's way better than I ever would have given you credit for. Yes, it's surprisingly
I had to do a lot
good.
of convincing and be like, just try it. Just try one. I promise it's not going to be gross. And a lot of like thinking, chewing, and then like, that's actually a lot better than I expected.
Mike Minotti says he won't try that. And that's when I'm like, listen, the fruit thing we understand. The nachos and Oreos is just
I don't know.
being cow. Well, okay.
Understand.
It's okay. Understand is a big word.
Accepted is different.
We accept you as you are, Mike Minotti.
Yes.
There you go.
But for the nacho cheese and Oreo, no, he needs to step up for that one.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when you brought that to me, I was like, yeah, this is probably gonna be good. Remember you did it to me in New York? You were in the office. You were probably like,
how is that the thing? You're like, yeah, that's cool. Let's go. Let's fucking party.
I think I was just like, yeah, this is probably gonna be good. It's like salty and sweet, and it's probably gonna be good.
And then you thought it was good.
Well, you were just hopping around like an idiot, being like, "Oh, this is
the nacho cheese gremlin."
Like me.
These little Oreo
gremlin.
You're like, this is gonna blow your mind, and I'm like, "Come on, dude, sweet cheat, like, come on, it's gonna be."
I'm saying
easy.
it's the best food ever. I'm just saying it's a lot better than you would expect.
Yeah, they should make like pretzel Oreos and then dip that in the nacho cheese, and that because I like pretzels and cheese a great deal. I had that a bunch over the break. Just like we were up in Vermont skiing, and like every restaurant had like pretzels and cheese, and that was like real nice, real hot pretzel.
Tim Turry brought me a ceramic Donkey Kong barrel filled with loose Skittles and Starburst, and I just don't feel like anyone's ever understood me more than him in that moment.
Were the Starburst already unwrapped?
No, loose Skittles. The Starbursts are wrapped. So I've got the DK barrel upstairs. It's just wonderful.
But they're not like Starburst packaging. They are just in the wrappers. Like the Starbursts are just in the wrappers with the Skittles. Okay, cool.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we were talking about what to do afterwards, and Bonk had the idea of like, should we put like a Venus flytrap in a Donkey Kong barrel? Would that be a cool thing to have sitting around?
That'd be neat. Yeah.
That's fair play.
Okay, that might be cool.
Yeah.
Do they do Starburst raw dog anywhere? Like, can you get raw dog Starburst?
Yeah.
Yes.
The mini bags. You open I got one of those upstairs. You open it up. It's like a Ziploc thing, and it's dangerous because you can just get a handful of the tiniest Starburst, and then it takes like forever to chew, but it's delicious.
Yes, it's actually really good.
So they're like tiny little cubes.
That's right.
Yeah, but they're unwrapped. So
I don't think I've seen those. Huh?
They're not
Well,
really
you
cubes.
clearly
They're
haven't
more
been in a dollar store recently. Sorry, that's where I get mine. Yeah.
It's like if you like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, like Starburst, like it would be the same proportions and everything, just much tinier.
They raw dog Reese's peanut butter mini cups.
Did they?
I think
they
they
don't even
do.
have the little like lower.
Oh yeah, they
condom part or
do.
whatever?
I've had that before.
Yeah, the lower
It's like
condom.
the mini ones.
Yeah, they're just like little morsels, like little bitey
Yeah.
bites.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are dangerous. I won't just eat a bag of those straight up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as much as I continue to want to talk about candy, I guess at some point we should probably talk about video games over this break. Trying to think if I did anything with Dib game wise. We played a lot more Spider-Man. We had seen credits roll on that, but you see credits roll on that. It just makes my kid think like everything has a stinger. Like there's always a thing at the end of everything, and it's just like I don't know what to tell you. Like he thinks he's like, well, when's the sequel coming out? I'm like, dude, it's 2020. Like we just no, it's a long time.
He is
a long
8,
time.
9.
He's 8.
8. Okay, that is like he's had maybe a year of understanding time in any real way, right?
He
like
still doesn't.
Yeah, right. The concept of time like really takes
so
a long
stupid.
while for kids to get the hang of. Like duration. Like there's no way. Like 10 minutes is the longest time in the world to my kids. I'm like, I'll do it in 10 minutes. They're like, that is literally forever. Okay. I'm like, it's like I'll just got to finish like 1 or 2 things and I'll be right over there. So yeah, and it's probably got to take him a minute before he recognizes what that game's coming out in 2 or 3, 5 years. Like that means nothing to him right now.
I was thinking about talking to him about the Insomniac leak, but I chose against.
But you have to at some point. Like we all have
to
to talk to our
protect him
children
from it.
How do we break this to our kids? Yeah.
I don't know. This is what's wrong with these leakers. They force us parents into these hard situations. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
The only game that I wound up playing unexpectedly over the break was beer pong, and
Sure.
that
For the Wii.
that was not expected. Not for the Wii, for the patio, and that's what we did on New Year's. But game wise, no, I did not get into too much trouble. But I want to hear what you guys got into trouble with.
I got into that Puzzmo finally. That everyone was talking about. Yeah, I ponied up to $40 even because I'm like, yeah, I'll do this for a year. Someone like I don't know. At some point, someone mentioned it's like, oh, it's just cool to have it. Maybe it was one of the Game of the Year list. It's nice to have those daily newspaper games. Obviously, like Wordle, it was filling that spot. New York Times games with connections and stuff fills that spot. But Puzzmo, just having it all right there in front of you on this webpage, and then having familiar things like Spell Tower, is that what it is? And then some of the other games that really bad chess, like just having it all in there as like, oh, this is one place I can go and play these games that I was sort of like going to from app to app on my phone, and instead having it all in one convenient location really makes it somehow a little bit better. And then the leaderboards are done really well. Having like the games tell you your percentile for any number of aspects of how you performed. Where it's like, okay, you're in like the 20th percentile for time, but in score you're in the 10th percentile. It's like, oh, that feels really good. And then I do really bad and really bad chess. It's like, oh, you're in the 60th percentile. I'm like, okay, well, next time I'll try to think about it a little bit harder. But just and then having all like the games that are experimental as well. We're like, hey, we're trying these things. They're not finished. But you can start playing with them now. I really appreciate that, where it's like there's always going to be something new, and then there's several like really strong games already that I will play every day, and then I'll experiment with some of these other ones, and that's been really fantastic. So yeah, I just like in the mood for these kinds of things. It's like 5 minutes I have here and there to play something like Connections. Well, it's like I get done with Connections, I'm like, okay, well, I have a little bit more time. I would like to do something, but I'm not going to go start up a whole real big actual video game. So going to Puzzmo.com, I'm like, yeah, this is it fits in with my life really well. So I'm a big fan of it so far.
Sure.
This is awesome. I have not been here before, and I just checked it out, and like I just typed in a couple like crossword things, and it's so smart the way it autofills like on the clues. Like, oh, this I got blank T.
So it's Zach Gage, right? This is the developer, and Zach's been doing mobile game design for a very long time, and has a very good understanding of what a good one of these looks like and behaves like. And it just comes across in every single one of these games. And then the games are not just all like, oh, it's not like a one-person show. They're bringing in editors to like, okay, someone else is editing the new crossword puzzle and things like that. So it's just really, it's the next generation of newspaper games is really what it feels like, in a really clean and cool way.
Yeah, especially with all the stat tracking and stuff.
Yes.
I got in a little earlier before I guess it went fully public, and now I see that they are gating some of the puzzles. But I mean,
At that now, I
like
remember
you say, Grub.
who's it was Ben's Game of the Year list. He mentioned this. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm definitely gonna go check it out then.
Yeah, like Cube Clear, I really like, and now that I see it's gated, I'm like, yeah, this to spend that for the year is totally worth it for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I played this like on ski lifts.
Yeah.
You know, like waiting
Exactly,
in the gondola,
yeah.
like waiting for like
Someone
to get
crashes
the
up there,
mountain.
so the ski lift stops. You're like, all right, well, I'll just play this for 30 seconds.
Exactly.
So some snowboarder ate it again. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well, how am I doing? No, that the Puzzle is awesome. Can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, big fan of it. I also finished my first like full campaign of SteamWorld Build. Really enjoyed that city builder game. I've talked about it before. Just to recap, it is like it's a city builder up top. As I've explained it to Mike, he says it sounds a lot like Anno, and other people have mentioned that as well. The Ubisoft city building games, like Anno 1886 or whatever it was. That's not the year. But so on the top level,
order.
It's the order,
yeah, Anno the Order 1886. On the top level is where you're building the city, and it's pretty simple. Of like, okay, you have this building, and the building's not going to necessarily do much for you in terms of mechanics, but what it does is feed into another building that you need to upgrade this building. And then that process gets more and more complicated until you get to the end. And then you need to be like filling up gas into a ship. And every one of your citizens needs to be happy in order to be able to produce that particular resource. And in order to make people happy, then you got to go to the bottom levels, which is like these mines that you need to work with a different kind of characters, this is where you can actually get attacked by enemies, and so you have to set up defensive positions and actually send out a little riflemen to go out and attack these guys. So there's more going on, and it gives you a lot to juggle. But at a certain point, it's like at the end of the game, I'm like, I think I got what I wanted out of this. I don't necessarily feel a need to return to SteamWorld Build. I think a big part of that is that going through that process is satisfying the first time, but like looking back, I don't really feel like I have too many stories of my time with this game. It was like, no, I went through the process and I did one step, then the next step, then the next step. And yeah, that was great, but it wasn't, it didn't feel bespoke. It didn't feel like I made a lot of decisions. I sort of was just filling up the meters and then going to the next challenge, which was filling up different meters. It's still really well done. And I'm always impressed with like the SteamWorld a universe and how they're able to adjust to these different genres, and they do so really well. But I think I'm probably good on any more time with SteamWorld Build personally.
Okay,
Cool.
what else do we have here?
My big one that I've been playing, I had not heard anyone else talk about until Bonk recommended it to me. It's called Cobalt Core, and it is on Switch, and I've been playing on Steam Deck as I travel. Bonk's been playing the Switch version, and apparently it runs great on there as well. It is like Into the Breach meets Slay the Spire, but it's like space combat, like with ships and stuff. So it's like you play, like you can unlock all these different spaceships and everything, and you'll be on the bottom. The enemy ship is on the top. And it's deck building. And so you'll bring 3 characters in, or 3 pilots, and they all have totally different styles where it's like, okay, this one, all their stuff is about mobility. This one is all about like launching these drones that'll like auto attack. So like good variety there with the different decks and everything. And just like Slay the Spire, you're unlocking new cards and everything that pop up in future runs. It does that same type of, roguelite map where you can choose, do I go here and repair, or go here and upgrade my cards,
those, yes.
or go to like a boss fight or something like that. And then I'll get these artifacts that are, persistent upgrades and things like that. It's the thing about it that reminds me of Into the Breach is like you always see what the enemy is going to be doing. So they'll be up there and you will see like, okay, when it's their turn, that cannon is going to shoot for 2 damage. This over here, they're going to shoot an asteroid out to try to block my next thing. Here, they've added a status effect themselves, so they are going to auto dodge my first shot on the next turn. So like you know exactly what you're dealing with. There's like no surprises, just like Into the Breach. And man, I've done a bunch of different runs on it now, unlocked a bunch of different ships and pilots, and like it's just so much fun seeing the different ways the pilots and decks can work together, and incredibly smartly put together.
I am getting this right away. This looks it's up my alley.
It has been my go-to, and it is perfect to be just like I love nights where it's like me and Bonk and we're both just like playing something on the couch, like last night, we had Raw on. It's 3 hours, and sometimes you pay attention, sometimes you don't, and we're just sitting there playing Cobalt Core for hours, and just wonderful for that.
I love Into the Breach, one of my favorite games of all time. And yeah, and I also like have been looking to get into like something like Slay the Spire. So yeah, this could be the one for me. And I love the art style is very much FTL.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to hear what you think of it because like I kind of want to spread the word on this game because I'm loving it.
I'm playing this like right away. As soon as we're done here, I'm playing this.
Nice.
Look what you did to Grub. Oh my god!
You said my keywords. I'm like into the breach. Seriously, I think about it every day.
That's why I was like shocked when I started playing it. Like I did a couple runs and I was like immediately hooked. And I was like, no one's talking about this. Like I think Bonk might have heard about it on I think MinMax was talking about it.
Came out in November. Yes.
Yeah, it's been out for a bit.
You know, I think someone did mention this on the Game of the Year podcast for MinMax. They like it got a shout out. I think Cobalt Core.
Okay,
yeah.
That might be where she heard it. Yeah.
Okay. Very cool.
Cool. What else, Dan?
Doom Eternal. I was traveling with the Steam Deck and I was like, you know what? Doom Eternal is one that I never actually beat despite loving 2016. I was like, I wonder if it works well on the Steam Deck.
It does.
Turns out it runs fucking great on the Steam Deck.
Those games are so well optimized, those Doom games, and they look incredible. It's so awesome. But yes. How'd you find it?
I'm liking it a lot more now. I think I just got overwhelmed when it first came out because it's like every 2 seconds I feel like it was like, here is this new system, here is this new upgrade screen, here is this like, it was like bombarding me with a bunch of stuff, and I think I just got kind of overwhelmed or something else came out. So I only played a couple levels of it back then, and I just said I'm gonna take the time and learn how all these systems work and everything. And I don't think it's perfect. Like it has great platforming for a first-person shooter,
right?
Like it feels really great moving around. Like, but specifically in combat, I think it feels great moving around. There are some like larger traversal sections that I think, like kind of the signposting and knowing where to go and everything. It's a little messy, and so. But the combat, like when you get to an arena where it's like on the map and it's red, and like, all right, this is gonna be a room where I'm just gonna fuck up enemies for like 15 minutes. Like that's where it really shines, and I'm fucking loving it for that.
Did you like Dune 2016, Dan?
Loved it. Yeah.
Big fan. Okay. And how far are you in Eternal?
I would say 4 to 5 hours, maybe more.
Okay. So maybe do you have the grappling hook? Or
yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. I haven't played it since it came out, so I forget how early on you get. But once you really get in the flow of using the grapple hook for like everything, that game just feels freaking amazing.
See, I'm barely using it actually because I got it. And it's really tied to the super shotgun, and like I love the standard shotgun because the alt fire on that is the grenade launcher. And so like I usually go to that because it fires quicker and has the grenades. But I haven't really needed to use the grappling hook much. Is the gimmick with that like you hook onto an enemy and then shoot them as you get close? Because it doesn't like auto shoot when you. Okay, I just gotta get in the swing of doing that.
Or like you'll glory kill them from like meleeing them once and then you glory kill, or like you do shot melee glory kill, I think is how I remember doing it. But once you get into that kind of flow with it, it works really well. I think once you get into the hang of using it as fixing the problem with Dune 2016 of closing in gaps, and you just use it specifically to get from group A over to group B, you mess them up in close range, and then you rinse and repeat to get through all the different waves it sends your way. I think once you get into that flow, it's very satisfying.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of torn on, like, I've been doing it both on the Steam Deck, on controller, on my TV, and on PC. And I know that, it's Doom. It's obviously PC is in the
So I'm assuming when you say PC, you mean mouse and keyboard.
Mouse and keyboard, right? Yeah, sorry.
Right.
And, like, the aiming is much better, but I find that in the heat of combat, there is just so much stuff in that game. And I'm trying to remember, like, wait, which button was the flamethrower? Which one was the chainsaw? Which one was... So, like, I do think it just kind of translates to controller a little better, which might be a heresy to, people, play it on PC or keyboard and mouse.
Are you using Splatoon style, like, motion controls on your Steam Deck? Because it can do that. So...
I've never tried that.
Oh, that's interesting. Are you saying that like a serious person, or are you just saying
I don't like it so much, Beckler, but I know Dan does. He likes it in Splatoon, right? You use the motion controls.
Oh yeah, no, it's critical for Splatoon.
And people do love it. They swear by it.
It's critical.
Yes, they swear by it.
Oh gosh!
Once you get used to it, it closes the gap between mouse and keyboard and controller. It actually does.
That sounds adorable. I just don't. I just like, to me, not playing like I remember loading Doom up on my Steam Deck and being like, wow, this game looks great. Oh, I'm not I just controlling it. There's something different. I already don't enjoy gamepads for FPSs, and like, I don't know.
I wonder, you doing Call of Duty with the mouse and keyboard, Beckler?
Yeah, no. I switch back and forth, but
Call of Duty is the one where you definitely can use a controller. Yes.
Yeah.
Grub, you're good at doing fucked up things to video games. Is there a way Is there any way I could play Doom Eternal with the Wiimote and nunchuck?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely you could. Yes. No, I mean,
very stupid.
What are we
in a way
waiting
I'd be
for?
into.
you'd probably have to do some like configuration, but I bet there's some like stuff in the Steam community for weird stuff like that could like get you started, and then you probably have to dial in a few of the things yourself.
Oh,
That'd be
I know
so
how we do
stupid.
this.
Yeah.
There's
You do?
programs where you can translate a Wii pointer
Yes.
to just a mouse. We can very easily make this happen, Dan.
Oh, that'd be very dumb.
With the Steam
Because we
Deck,
can doesn't mean we should.
The
But
most
well.
space shooter with like the most laggy like pointer.
Yeah.
maybe we could make a
Yeah.
UPF like that where it's like just messed up ways to play video games.
I just play everything with the Resident Evil chainsaw
I got
controller
my
or Steel
USB
Battalion. Steel
yeah,
Battalion.
I got my USB DDR pad right behind me. We can do some stuff with that. Yeah,
Oh, nice.
yeah.
seems cursed.
With the Steam Deck with the tilt controls, you can set it so that the tilt will only activate if you rest your thumb on the right stick because it has a touch on there, so it knows when you're touching it.
Oh.
So you just rest it on there, and that's when it will move. And then the rest of the time, you can just like keep your thumb off there, and then it won't be like juddering around as you're moving the Steam Deck. So there's some really smart stuff on there. I would
Deck
be
kicks
interested
ass,
if
it
you would
turns out.
try that and see
Yeah.
like what it was like.
Yeah. I mean, is that in the Doom settings that I could change to gyro
What
controls?
you
The what now?
oh, God damn it.
Or is it Euro? One of them's a sandwich. I always forget.
So far, you've said nothing that is correct.
Yeah, who's Guy Rowe? Do you? I don't.
Wait,
I don't know that
is
guy.
it gyroscope or gyroscope or
It's
gyro?
gyro. What do you think it is?
Gyro.
What do you think? It's gyro. What do you?
Gyro. You just said. You said it was gyro.
It's gyroscope.
Gyro. Oh, I think somebody told me to think giant bomb. Gyro. Okay, I obviously forgot that. So okay, gyro.
But you
but what's
said
the sandwich?
Guy
A Euro.
Well, some people say Euro. Yeah,
Gyro.
yeah.
Okay, but then there's is gyro a thing? No, gyro is the right one.
Aren't you like Mr. Oh no, you're
Spelling, not
Spelling.
pronunciation. Yes.
Yeah.
With the Steam Deck, you'll hit the Steam button and then just keep pressing right. It'll take you controller configurations, and then
right. Yeah.
just use the community one because there's going to be a community one. For
sure,
Doom
sure.
Eternal motion controls.
Okay, hang on. This is I can't let this one go. Dan, what do you call that game on the NES where Rob raises and lowers red and blue pillars? What do you call
I don't think
that
I've
game?
ever said it out loud, but I would guess gyromite. Gyromite. It's gyromite seems right?
No,
Definitely not, Dan.
You're just
You were right the first
bad.
Gyromite?
Euro controls
you
with
said
lamb
it
and tzatziki
correctly.
sauce. Hell yeah, let's go.
Gyromite.
Gyro.
Yep.
Gyro. Yes.
Okay.
Can we, by the
It
way,
should be gyromite.
No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't.
Gyromite is a jobber in WCW, I think.
Gyromite.
Yeah.
Jan, if you're listening, can we get giantbomb.com with a Y, please? Thank you. Anyways,
That's
moving
going to
on.
confuse me more.
Giant bomb.
I'm sorry. That just made me a little dizzy. I was thinking about sitting down for a second.
I had a couple other things real quick. My kids, mostly Addie, the 4-year-old, is just every 3D Mario game. She bounces between them and plays for like half an hour, then plays the other one, and she's playing all of them.
Oh, that's cool.
Like on
Sunshine-
3D All Stars?
3D All Stars is a bit, yes, and then she'll go to Odyssey, and then it just and every 10 minutes she needs help with something. So I've been playing a lot of 3D Mario basically, and I do have like man, I should go back and replay Sunshine. It's probably time. Because she said I was getting used to like the inverted left and right camera, and where I'm like, I remember a time when this made perfect sense to me. This was like, of course, this is how a game is supposed to control. So the idea of getting used to that again and playing the whole game, I'm like, I kind of want to see what that's like again. And then I played Against the Storm, which is a roguelite city builder. I am on my first run, so I'll probably talk about it more next week. I'll just say it feels really good. It just has a really satisfying sort of when you click things into place, it just has a lot of good feedback. But I haven't experienced any of the roguelite stuff yet, so I'll just say the people that recommended it, they were right because it does have a lot of good stuff going for it. I just need to see more of it, so I'll talk about it next week.
All right. Very good. What else, friends?
So I mentioned that I was messing around with the Steam Deck over the break and I was getting a bunch of stuff running. The one thing that I really want to do, just because, I don't know, this is like almost like a blind spot for me in recent times that I wanted to revisit because I checked out a bunch as a kid, is actually the Ridge Racer series. Everyone's talking about Ridge Racer. Mike won't shut up about Type 4. I got John Linneman talking about Ridge Racer 7. A bunch of other people talking about 5. Like, everyone's talking about Ridge Racer in the retro community for whatever reason. So I decided to fire a bunch of those up. And I sort of just went through them, did a couple of races with each. And man, the one that really stuck with me was Ridge Racer 7 is actually really cool. I feel like people...
Is that like a Vita one? Which one is this?
No, so Ridge Racer 7, definitely not stalling here because I want to get this right. I believe it was, I think it was launch. Yeah, it should have been launch for the PlayStation 3.
Right, yes. This is the Ridge Racer. Or was that the Vita one?
That was
PS3. That was Vita because he held up. Well, no, it was the
PS3 that one.
He
was
showing the Vita rearview mirror. Yeah, it's
PSP.
No, that was PSP, I believe.
It could be PSP.
Right,
Yeah.
Sorry. PS3 game with the PSP rear view.
Yeah. But anyways, Ridge Racer 7 is still actually super impressive because, guys, that was 1080p 60 FPS as a PS3 launch game.
Well, the cell processor, I mean.
Oh, well,
yeah, come on. It's mad.
No, it's like from this weird alternate reality where instead of doubling down on all these different like processing effects and trying to like push graphics as far as possible, what if we just had the games look not necessarily PS2 like, but what if we had them look like an OG Xbox game, but on newer hardware? And it looks so clean as a result nowadays. I was playing it on the Steam Deck. Emulation isn't perfect of that, but it was running 60 FPS and like, man, that was just so smooth, and I was having a ton of fun with. That's also where I believe it was the first one where they actually introduced nitrous to the series, so you could just straight up like boost like in Need for Speed and whatnot. It was super fun.
The Xbox games running really well. The actual like Xbox backwards compatibility stuff. Some games like I played through Max Payne 1 and 2 for the first time a couple years ago, and goddamn, if it, like on the Series X, it just makes it run so well. So yeah, it's really good for that.
Yep. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Ridge Racer, the thing with those games always was that the power sliding felt better than just about any other game that wasn't, Mario Kart has a really good power slide. But
it took me a second to get used to it because I am so used to it in Mario Kart.
Yeah.
But once you get used to it and you're not like spinning out, because you got gently steer into it, especially because the first few were like digital only. They didn't have analog controls, so you have to sort of get used to that mentality. But I think especially once I got analog on 7 or anything like that, it felt really good to control. So I see why Mike won't shut up about the series, I guess is what I'm saying.
You think it could come back, right? They could do a new Ridge Racer today.
Oh yeah,
and I think
definitely.
Probably wouldn't be necessarily like a 2 million seller, but they could probably do a lot of fun stuff with that.
I think it could, honestly, if
maybe.
you like.
I hope so.
Market it right and everything, because there's really nothing else doing that style of arcadey mixed with sim racing.
Right, we got the arcade racers back recently with the Hot Wheels one and Cruise and Blast
stuff.
Yeah, what's that?
Fortnite stuff.
Yeah,
that's pretty arcade
right,
racing.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but like this, you're right. This specific version of it's gonna be real cars and it's gonna present itself like a real racing game, but it's still an arcade racer. We haven't had a lot of those.
That's what all the games trying to fill that niche are doing. You're right. Is cartoony, over the top stuff, almost trying to take from Mario Kart and not the old school arcade racer like Daytona, like they should be. And so I think there is that niche that could be filled. And I mean, Ridge Racer became a showpiece for new systems because 5, 6, and 7 were all. I think they were all. I'm not sure about 6 launch games on their respective systems: PS2, 360, PS3. So I think if they want to, they could bring it back and just have it be that incredible combination of the real cars and everything, but with a more loose
and stand apart from something like Need for Speed, which is like Need for Speed's like, hey, we're going to be open world and have you like do all this other stuff and just make a lot of different decisions than that. You could set yourself apart.
Right.
We had that brief moment on the 360 era where Split Second and Blur came out around the same time, and it's like, we're
like
back.
2 weeks aside.
Right? Yeah, and then they just stopped making those games again. So.
Probably because of those games.
Yeah, so good. Okay.
And is this one more you have here, Sean?
Yeah, this is the other half of what I was doing over a break. I was just playing a lot of fighting games with my friends because we actually had the time to sit down and play some more Street Fighter 6. We checked out the new version of Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. But the one that stuck with us was this was the first game that Epic gave away as part of their deals. So it's very cool to get this for free because we've been waiting for a sale on. But DNF Duel, it's based on this long-running MMO-ish kind of game from back in the day that is still going, I believe, called Dungeon Fighter Online. And it's super popular overseas, less so over here, obviously. But man, this game, it's made by Aiding, and that's the company that's made games you're familiar with and games you're definitely not. So they made like the Naruto Clash of Ninja games on the GameCube, which you might have seen back in the day. But they also made like Marvel vs. Capcom 3. So like they have a really good pedigree of just making games that, you press buttons and it feels good. And so we've just went in expecting, whatever, we'll try this out for an evening. And it really stuck with us because it just feels great to control. It feels kind of like Marvel 3, but 1v1s. And so it's so much fun to just figure out your combos, and it just feels good because a lot of fighting games, this is my problem with a lot of modern fighting games. Street Fighter 6 is a little bit better about this, and Mortal Kombat 1 as well. But fighting games not allowing you to just do combos that make sense. Like if the dude's right in front of me, I should be able to like punch him. But just the system mechanics will make it like, well, no, he's going to spin out after this, or this is going to whiff because of this, that, or the other. And then DNF2 is just like, screw all that. We'll let you do whatever the hell you want. You got the meter. Yeah, you're dealing 80%. We don't give a shit. And man, that just you get a couple of beers with the boys. That just makes for a real good night. So we were having a blast playing that for sure.
Sean's doing it the right way, guys.
Yeah.
Sounds
pretty good.
living.
What is Arc System Works' involvement here? Like, did they make previous Dungeon Fighters, or did they work on this one in any way? Or they
it's a huge collaboration between
okay.
Nexon and Neopol. Let me see. I'm trying to think of who. Yeah, Nexon and Neopol are like the rights holders of Dungeon Fighter. ArcSys provide like basically the framework because it looks like an Arc System Works game if you look it up.
It does. Yes.
And then Aiding is a work for hire team, so they made the actual game like underneath all that.
Why do I recognize Aiding? Like, what did they work on that I've played?
You might have seen them in the news because they are working on the upcoming Hunter x Hunter fighting game, and a lot of people are talking about that, like Tanner tweeting about that and stuff.
You know what they developed? They developed 2023's Game of the Year.
Pikmin 4.
Pikmin 4. That's where I know them from.
They worked on that with EPD or whoever. Yeah.
Man, that rules. Okay, cool. Wow, man, I'll check this out just for that.
Yeah, it's high good praise. Team, good game.
Very good. Man, I didn't think there was going to be this much gaming over the break, but there was.
Turns out we like games around here. Who would have thought?
All right. Well, very good. Everyone, sounds like you enjoyed your gaming. I hope everyone enjoyed the first segment here. We're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to dive into all the game news that's fit to discuss on the Giant Bombcast. Stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Giant Bombcast. Kevin McAllister is a ghost. I really have a good time with you guys. I want you to know that.
Oh, wait, am I dying? Are you about to tell me I'm dying?
No, I'm not your fake doctor.
Am I a ghost? Wait, what?
Look, it makes you think, Sean, does it not?
Oh my god. I love how the first conspiracy theory out of Conspiracy Theory Bacalar is the same one that Pokemon fans have been talking about for years with the anime. What if Ash just died to that lightning bolt in the first episode? The whole 20 years? That was all hallucination.
Yeah, but like my theory holds water though.
You're right. What was I thinking?
I mean, come on, it's airtight logic.
Yeah, you couldn't see his bedroom. What else? What other proof do you need?
It has to be a ghost.
Has to be a ghost.
I'm sorry, you're in your own home, and it doesn't occur to you like, I don't have a bed. What have I been doing for these 8 years?
I'm looking up the Lego Home Alone set because then you get a full sense of the floor plan, right?
Canonical answer to this question.
Right? They're pretty accurate.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have the Seinfeld one. Let's see.
Well, the Seinfeld one is the set. Do they get to like the
Well, you can't make a
granularity?
house without all the bedrooms. Okay, that's the
Yeah, but it's
bathroom. That's
Legos.
the basement.
You do see Jerry's bedroom sometimes. It's there.
That's true.
It's rare, yeah. Okay, there's the Michael Jordan thing in the living room. There's the kitchen. Is there no fucking bedroom in this Lego house?
I told you. Listen.
my
I told
God.
you.
Ghosts don't need to sleep.
You turn the Lego thing upside down. Graveyard. Right.
Wait,
was-
is it
Oh, wait
this
a
room
second,
with the
wait a
little
second.
Nero's pizza and the angels with filthy wings on the TV? Is that it?
No,
That's
that's
the
like their
living room, right?
sitting
Those
room.
are their
yeah,
den.
It's like their
Oh,
library. Yeah.
okay.
Wait a second. He's like the kid nobody likes. Isn't there a chance that he just has a bed with one of the other kids? Like Butch or whatever the hell his name is?
Yeah.
Buzz?
Buzz? No, he's definitely not allowed in Buzz's
No,
room.
but
you're right, you're right.
legally
Back off,
not allowed
back
in
off.
Buzz's room.
I'm just saying, facts are facts, and they certainly lead you to believe that Kevin
And
is no
ghosts.
longer with us, or was never with us to begin with. Speaking of a man of facts, Jeff Grubb is here to lead us down Fact Avenue in the world of video games. Take it away, Mr. Grubb.
All right. News. All right, got some news for you, everybody. It was the holidays, not a ton happened, but there's some things we can discuss. Definitely a few little interesting tidbits, especially happening on Nintendo's side of things. But we'll get to that after Mickey Mouse has entered the public domain, everybody.
Finally!
And
Finally.
no one cares because everyone's like, what a terrible fucking IP that I don't need to use for
Yeah,
anything.
no one on
And there
staff
are-
cares about Mickey Mouse
and there
here,
are
so nobody
already
associated
games
with
using the
Bond has
character.
ever cared. Yeah.
There's a video game called Infestation 88 that was ready and raring to go on day
This
one
is
of 2024.
just Mickey Mouse. What the hell?
It's Mickey Mouse basically as a FNAF character. It's a Five Nights at Freddy's alike, and you're gonna get hunted down by a dilapidated Mickey Mouse. Basically, he looks like he's been left out to rot, and he has the Steamboat Willie hat and everything. So they're right on. Like, okay, we could definitely use Mickey Mouse as long as we're referring to the Steamboat Willie version. Now, Steamboat Willie does take off his hat, so if you want to make a Mickey Mouse without the hat on, you can. But yeah, this is probably going to happen quite a bit this year. But
Rob,
here's our
would
first
your
bit of
kids recognize Mickey Mouse like in a police lineup?
You always do this. You're
I'm genuinely curious. Is it no, Grub?
I don't know.
No,
It's
they
tough.
would.
It's tough
They
to
would.
say. Yeah,
They
yeah. I
would.
mean, yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be so good.
Where'd he go?
Oh, I can't wait for the public.
All right.
Oh, the
So here's the fucking deal. A lot of these fuckers, what they won't tell you, right, is that they're saying that Mickey Mouse is in the public domain. Mickey Mouse this, Mickey Mouse that. It's not. It's Steamboat Willie, who is a better character than Mickey Mouse because all Steamboat Willie likes to do is hurt animals. That's his fucking goal. If you watch the short, all he does is he drives a boat, he gets off the boat, and then what he does is that he torments animals that he doesn't like.
For real?
Yes.
Like in the
He makes them
Steamboat
play
Willie?
music.
Oh.
Yes. All he does is he pulls dogs' tails. He hits other animals. It's fucking sick.
Mickey's
Everyone
right.
should go watch Steamboat Willie.
There's a lot of
So, Steamboat Willie, I feel like at least there is evidence that Steamboat Willie had a narrative and was an actual like show or short film or something. The modern day Mickey Mouse, which is still under copyright, is just a fucking logo, right? Outside of Fantasia, where he doesn't even talk.
No.
He's just a logo.
He has a new show on Disney Plus. That's actually pretty good.
The shorts?
Okay, you can't kick me.
What was that?
Slut.
I get like
Goodbye.
Mike's point is that
Thanks, Nikki.
Good to see you, Nikki. Good to see
Thanks,
you. Thanks for
Nikki.
coming in.
who really wants this? It's people are just
I
going
love
to
it when
make weird
friends
things with
jump
Mickey
in.
Mouse now, and it's like I don't know. I kind of want it. This is fun. This will be interesting. Now, so it is Steamboat Willie, but Steamboat Willie is Steamboat Willie starring Mickey Mouse. So both are in the public domain now. You wouldn't be able to use the color scheme that he got later on, right after they established the character later on. At least not without risking some problems with Disney.
So,
I think
like the Steamboat Willie depiction of Mickey Mouse, would your kids recognize that, Grub?
Absolutely not. Well, I mean, okay, they would be like,
see?
that's Mickey
I'm
Mouse.
right.
They would be able to put it together.
They would know,
I
you're like,
think.
okay, yeah, that's Mickey Mouse, yes. But they wouldn't be like, yeah. If I just said, hey, do you guys want to watch Steamboat Willie? They'd be like, what are you talking about? Of course.
Right. And what about Dib?
Dib would be like, is that old Mickey Mouse? That's what Dib would
Okay.
say. He'd be like, oh, what is up with like old man Mickey Mouse looking all black and white and pointless?
Okay.
Okay. You know,
Yeah, it is
Dan always
pointless.
brings up Mickey Mouse versus Sonic. Grub, I want to ask you, do you think your kids are more familiar with Mickey Mouse or Pikachu?
Oh, it's Pikachu. Like,
Well,
without-
my kids
but
aren't
for me,
super
I'm
into
sorry,
Pokemon. I'm
Yeah.
sure it did.
At like most kids around the world, which Mike has tried to argue against me about.
I think
He's like, no, kids know Mickey Mouse more than Pikachu. What the? Oh, Dan didn't like
All
that
right.
one. Okay, God.
Mike
I
just
figured out I
moved
can
him.
move Dan.
Oh no!
Why did we give him this power?
Oh no!
All right. Yes.
I almost
this
just
is all-
kicked Mike out of the server
happened?
permanently.
I love it. This is the day we decide to record locally.
Yeah.
What happened?
This is great. This is going
What, do you
very
kick
well.
me out to let Minotti in?
Minotti
No,
moved
he got
you.
in and then kicked you out.
He
Boy,
kicked you
he
out.
shouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, you're
what
right.
the hell? How do we fix
power.
that?
That's a friend of the site error. We got to fix
Yeah,
that.
that's an
Oh,
HR
boy.
violation. I think.
Okay.
I don't know. All right. So, I mean, Mickey Mouse public domain. You guys going to start making your Mickey Mouse artworks now? Anyone got some
No,
big
'cause no
plans?
one's going to care.
Yeah, I got Pikachu. What the fuck do I need Mickey for?
Mickey Mouse.
Quite frankly, friends, this story is only good for a headline, and that's basically it.
Well,
I
I mean,
think it's good for some trolling too, but yeah.
Okay, so like Sherlock Holmes is mostly in the public domain, and we've gotten tons of great Sherlock Holmes stuff. I don't think the same
Sure.
thing is necessarily going to happen with Mickey Mouse.
Well,
So wait, how long has Sherlock Holmes been in the public domain?
For like 20 years or something like that.
No,
So-
hang
The
on.
Robert Downey Jr. movies, did they not have to like pay the Holmes family? Or well, I guess
Now, hang on.
But-
Because Grub, remember in whatchamacallit, the Ace Attorney games, we've got Sherlock Sholmes because that's still an issue.
Yeah, so okay. It depends on how you present the character. Always, like
What?
because some of the listen. This is for very litigious families that still have some of the rights. I think with like Sherlock Holmes, like you can't make a nice Sherlock Holmes because a nice Sherlock Holmes didn't appear in the books until many years later, and those books are still under copyright.
Wait, the nice variant of Sherlock Holmes? I don't
Yes,
know.
a Sherlock Holmes that isn't a complete dick. Like, yes.
Wait, is that part of his character? Is that he's a dick?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Really?
He's
Yeah.
like a know-it-all for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a complete.
okay.
He's a complete asshole. Yes, like that's the whole, the
Oh,
whole
wow.
point. Is like he's the smartest guy in the world, and he's a dick. Yeah, he sucks. Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
And
This is the
Watson
weird
is like
thing.
his bitch, right? Like
This is what's
you know.
weird about public domain characters is you can't use someone else's depiction of it. So it's like, you can't just take Disney's Cinderella and use that as your Cinderella. You'd have to come up with a different Cinderella.
That's right. Yes.
Could
Is
I
it blue
make
dress
my
or
own
whatever?
Disney World and put cool rides in it and use Steamboat Willie for that?
Yes.
Yep.
Now you couldn't call it. You
Break
couldn't call it
ground.
Disney now because Disney's trademarked, and you couldn't.
No, I'd call it Mickey Mouse World.
and you couldn't put like the mouse ears that they use as their trademark. You can't
Yeah,
use
you can't
that
do that.
because that's
But
the
it could be his
trademark
face,
is very
right? It could just
different.
be his face.
But you could use his whole face. Yes.
So I can make a cool version of Disney
like
World.
Disneyland. Dan had fun in Disneyland.
I don't know who that was, but yes, it was fun. It's still look. When I was at Disneyland, I was like, okay, I get like this is very well done. Like everything is I get it,
It
but it's
passed the
still
test.
a lame version of an amusement park. Like it. I
Did you
stand
watch
by
the-
that.
the
There's
new
no
video
fucking
that-
good rides there.
Did you watch our video of like all the rest of the stuff? The Disney travel stuff was pretty fun. We were having a good time there.
I had a great time there.
You say like many times, you're like, this is pretty good. I'm okay here. I'm happy here.
It's not a bad time. I never said that. I'm just saying, like, you show me one where I'm walking around Mickey Mouse Land and one where I'm going on cool fucking roller coasters and stuff. There's a winner every time, you know?
You still do.
I don't need themes. I want the thrill rides.
I do want to
like,
point out, I did ask Mike if he wanted to be on this episode, and he said no. So
Yeah.
Seems like he's real busy.
we're just honoring his wishes when we kick him out of here.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah.
Do you like? Are you like still a roller coaster person? Like crazy roller coasters?
Oh, any thrill ride, skydiving, any just super adrenaline, anything where it's like your body is like, oh my God, I'm dying, but then you know you're safe. So you get all the adrenaline and everything, but none of the danger. Like, that's great, you know?
I don't know if I like. I still like the idea of roller coasters. I don't like the idea of like waiting in line for them anymore. And I don't know if
Yeah,
like the juice.
You get the pass stuff.
Yeah,
That's
the juice isn't necessarily worth
Yeah.
the squeeze. I'm like, I would probably prefer like actually like skydiving or something compared to like going on a roller coaster.
Have you ever gone?
I've never gone.
You should come with me.
You should what you should do is you should just set it up when we're on a trip sometime. Just take me without telling me, and then just
That's probably the
just
best
spring
way
it
to
on
do
me.
it.
Because I think that'd be fun. Because
that
I would do
backfired.
it. I would still do it. But I would like I like the idea of it. Suddenly I'm like, wait, I'm skydiving in 10 minutes. Are you joking?
I like that, dude. Can I like knock you out or something, and then you wake up and we're ready to go out of the plane?
No.
Like, can you be asleep?
No,
if you're asleep,
that
at my
might be
place-
illegal.
If
If you go to bed, if you go to bed at my place, let's say we were up drinking and watching Gremlins, and you pass out, and I am able
you
to get
spiked
your
my drink?
sleeping
Okay,
body
yeah.
onto a plane and strapped to a tandem guy. Would you be mad at me? If
Dan, you
woke up right as we pushed you out?
you cannot weekend at Bernie's skydiving.
Yeah,
I'm drawing the line
exactly.
right
I'm
here.
asking, if he says yes, I think legally I'm good.
No, you're
I
not.
give you permission if there is another adult there that I implicitly trust, 100% stopping you from doing all the other things that would happen to me if I was asleep around you. So,
Everyone listening to this podcast, this is exactly how this guy's brain works. It's just no like planning or thought about any logistical priority.
all
and it works
out.
most of the time.
could
Though.
you
That's the scary
imagine-
thing.
It
Yeah.
works.
Yep.
It doesn't work. You're not
It
going
works all
into
the
like
time.
the training
It
part
works. Thank
of
you.
the.
Grub nose.
It
Grub
do
nose.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see this
Tandem,
playing
you
out
don't
real
need to
perfectly.
Training tandem. Look, I've done both. I've done by myself 5 times. I've done tandem 2 or 3 times. Tandem, you could pass out, shit your pants, and land safe. Like it requires nothing
Could
from
just-
you.
The safety instructor just being like, and what's the deal with this guy?
And then I'll show him a clip from a
Unconscious
podcast, and he'll be like, "Okay, that works."
Legally,
Yeah.
we're in the clear.
Yes,
Passes the sniff test for
Yeah.
me.
exactly.
All right, let's get on with the news here. Developers in Japan are talking about their excitement for 2024. They did a bunch of like quotes for 4Gamer in Japan, and many of these developers mentioned new hardware. Some of them specifically said we're excited about Nintendo hardware. A Capcom producer said 2024 will bring new consoles and more indie titles to look forward to. A Koei Tecmo producer said Nintendo's new platform has been the focus of much attention. And another Koei Tecmo producer said we look forward to seeing what new gaming platforms and their titles will bring to the table. So at this point, it's getting to a point where it's probably an open secret, or at least these developers are assuming that Nintendo will have something new in 2024.
Pretty explicit though, right?
But it does feel, I mean, listen, Koei Tecmo works with Nintendo very closely. Capcom works with Nintendo pretty closely. And have done, both of these companies have done work for hire work for Nintendo in the past. Very likely could do it again. Capcom's maybe a little bit busy these days. But the point is that these companies would probably have development kits for a long time now at this point, if the thing is coming out next year. So yeah, I think this is probably backed up by them being excited for a reason. And yeah, we can expect to see it. Now, does anyone at this point in January of 2024 think we get this anytime before the holidays? Because it feels like the holidays is when this thing's
I think the
launching right now.
holidays.
Holidays.
Launch
November.
holidays feels right.
Yep.
I think
Yeah,
we
like
get
early
an
November.
announcement maybe in the spring, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And then like a big blowout in September.
Even that might be a little early with how Nintendo's doing this. They might be like, they might have the announcement like they did back in the day of like, yeah, we're working on something. We'll let you know in a few months. And then like in summer, they're like, yeah, it launches in 4 or 5 months.
Metroid Prime 4 launch game. Like
I still believe, and this is just a belief, that Metroid Prime 4 comes out for the Switch before the Switch 2. But
Minimum,
Wow,
it needs to
that's-
be a Switch game. Yeah.
yeah.
all of a sudden, one day later now in 2024, that seems like a real rough
I
prediction.
Yeah,
right?
well, you're right, because they haven't mentioned anything about it.
They They made Prime Remastered as a foundation for Prime 4, though. So I'd imagine that they were optimizing for Switch hardware this whole time.
Yeah, and Mike also agrees with you very much, Bacalar, that it's not going to be a Switch game. Or maybe at the very least, it'll be a cross-gen. All right, let's see here. Hideo Kojima, he gave development updates on Death Stranding 2 and OD. So Death Stranding 2, the game he's working on with PlayStation. OD, the game he's working on with Microsoft. Basically said Death Stranding 2 is still in development and will likely be released in 2025. Maybe seems like there's some wiggle room there for late 2024, but probably 2025. OD is still in early stages of development, and a release date is not yet known. That seems like it's probably pretty far off. But hey, Kojima Productions has been doing a pretty good job of getting these games out relatively quickly, at least with Death Stranding. So maybe it won't be that long after all. How you guys feeling about Kojima these days and these games? I thought that OD that first trailer was weird. And I'm excited to see what the next 5 trailers will look like. But beyond that, I don't know.
That's how it's always been with him. Well, he's always been the king of like doing like really interesting teaser trailers that lead to really fleshed out, long, dramatic trailers that are super fun. Like no one's better at the hype cycle than Kojima for 25 years or so now. So I like that. I don't really know what OD is, and I look forward to weird ass Death Stranding trailers. So yeah, I'm along for the ride. This is part of being a Kojima fan. Yep,
exactly. And I agree that he does it better than anyone else.
I was going to ask, since Dan phrased it that way, what's the vibe check on Kojima right now? Like, how are you feeling about the studio and, him as a director on all these projects? How are we feeling about the output there?
I love it because he's clearly just doing the weird shit he wants to do and doesn't have a lot of bullshit like Konami involvement. And like, even if I don't love everything that like Death Stranding, like the story and everything is nonsense, but I have to appreciate and love how much he just goes into his own bullshit. And like, that's part of what makes him fascinating.
Okay.
And of course, the story being nonsense means the A24 film is moving ahead that they're working on for Death Stranding. So he's busy. He's got a lot of pokers in the fire, however you say that, and he's going to make something happen there.
This might be the first round of constructive criticism our boy gets, maybe from a movie studio's like, no, dude, this has to make sense.
Yeah.
This has to have 3 acts. You have
A24 should have given him the Iron Claw.
Yeah.
Yes, let him make that. Hideo Kojima's the Iron
put him in
Claw.
his place.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
I think the reason that like Metal Gear Solid 1 to me still holds up as his best work is because in the localization, he had people who like told him no. And who like, even in the original game, told him, no, like, we're doing it this way. And that's why Metal Gear Solid 1's story holds up. Like, the game holds up. It's a fantastic game. Then Metal Gear Solid 2, everything went out the fucking window. They just let him run free.
It was fascinating for it.
It was interesting. I'll give him, I don't know. Like, Death Stranding didn't do it for me. I'm like, man, if the first quarter of your game is intentionally boring, congrats, you made a boring game.
Yeah, you're
right.
And
OD, I'm like, what is this trailer for a movie at this point?
Yeah.
I have no idea what thing.
I mean,
I don't know.
The trailers, I'm 100% with Dan on the trailers. Like, he's gonna make weird stuff, and as long as it keeps getting weirder with these trailers, I'll be on board, because I think that's part of the fun with Kojima is that we get.
I like the weirdness.
But I agree totally, and I like the Death Stranding trailers more than the game, and like that.
I agree.
Not great,
but it's better than not liking either at a certain point.
You're right.
Like,
totally. There's a lot of star fucking going around. I'm always just like, all right.
He is the king of that too.
He is the leader in the free world.
He's the Lorne Michaels of the video game industry when it comes to star fucking.
I watched that. There was a clip on like TikTok or someone talking about Lorne Michaels like name dropping, and he always acts like he's pained. He's like, I was eating with the Obamas, and it's like
I with my friend Paul. He was in the Beatles.
I might have heard of them.
Yeah.
Why does he sound like Dr. Evil when everyone does an impression of him?
Because
that's
Dr.
what it was
Evil
based on.
is Lorne Michaels.
Oh, is it really?
Yes.
I had no idea.
Myers directly based it on Lorne Michaels.
Idea.
Yes.
Really? That makes so much more sense.
Yes.
Okay, holy shit.
which is just like good to know, right? Isn't
Yeah.
it
Yes.
just, like good to
Puts a
know.
lot of things in perspective there.
A24 is pissing me off lately. Also with this fucking dumbass Civil War movie and like, I don't know. Like shut the fuck
that
up.
Civil War movie
Shut
looks.
up.
People are, I think, are overreacting to it. It looks.
I think it's.
Wait, are people
I don't
down
know.
on it?
People are like,
No,
oh, we
it's
don't
just
need,
like-
we don't need a movie like this. I'm like, I don't think it's like this.
We
don't.
don't.
I
We
don't know. I
clearly-
don't think it is that movie because it's like the free Western territories of Texas and California are fighting against like, oh, okay,
Yeah, they would
This
never
is a-
work together.
Right. This is a complete work of fantasy. Like it's probably going to be exploring
so call
something.
it something else.
Sure.
Yeah, because people
Okay.
aren't gonna know that in today's age, Grub.
Well, I mean,
Just
we
call
haven't
it
seen the
something
movie
else.
yet. I don't know. And you're right. People are going to take, but people take like fucking the Joker movie. That was the worst for that, right? Where
Yes,
people like take
I don't
these
know.
things.
I have a personal weirdness about like, I mean, how soon after 9/11 was there a 9/11 movie? It felt like
There's a
4
Nicolas
months.
Cage one. Was it
Like-
Oliver Stone and Nicolas
It
Cage?
was like
I think.
I don't know.
Or United 93 was pretty soon after
Yeah.
too.
Was that
like
rom-com?
4 years?
Where like the dude ended up being in the Twin Towers or something. That was only like a couple of years after, I think.
I don't know. We're
my
just
favorite,
such a
like
circus country. It's just like we're such a fucking joke.
the guy that did Friday Night Lights. I can't remember his name now, but him and Mark Wahlberg did the what's the big oil rig that caught on fire? That one like a year later they had a movie.
Enron.
Yeah, the Enron oil rig. Yes.
The USS Enron.
And then they did one for the Boston Marathon bomb. Yes, Deepwater Horizon. Thank you, Bungus. Deepwater Horizon, they had a movie like a year later, and then they had a movie for the Boston bombing like a year later as well.
Yeah,
And they did
what
those
are we
two.
doing?
No, to be fair, both those movies are excellent. They are great. But it's like,
Okay.
man, you guys really just got to work that night and started making a movie.
It's like
that is a weird
dystopian-
reaction to a tragedy. To be like, I got an idea.
Uh-huh.
No, like literally, the first people on the scene are the EMTs and people looking to
Yeah, man, Mark
license the
Wahlberg.
catastrophe.
Oliver Stone in the rubble. Yeah.
Fucking Oliver
This
Stone
gives me
being
a great
like,
idea
"Look,
for a movie. Say hello to your mother for me.
We'll get you help. We'll get you a doctor. But can you just sign this? Because I'd love to have motherfucking
I'm gonna
Chris
have a Hemsworth
Pratt
play you. Yeah. Yes.
I know you're under rubble. Fucking Christ. Anyway,
Yeah, fair enough. Did anyone see The Iron Claw? I haven't seen it yet.
I did.
How was it?
It's really good. It's I'm sure they're as super historians, it'll be like, oh, this order of things
Right, but there
or
are
this
plenty
wasn't
of
exactly. But I
documentaries
mean,
you can
as
watch
far
on
as
that
getting the
stuff,
broad
yeah.
strokes out to a mainstream audience that probably does not know the story of the tragedy of the Von Erichs, it gets the broad strokes really, like, it's just incredibly well made. There are little things that are just weird to me as a wrestling fan. Like, I know the Flair the depiction, a lot of people are like, what the hell was that? And like, yeah, as a person who's seen Ric Flair talk a lot, including that specific promo that's in the movie, it's like, this is weird. This feels like the Party City, version of Ric Flair. But they weren't going for an impression, so I don't think it actually detracts from the movie if you're someone who's just going in and doesn't know the story or anything. But yeah, it's just nitpicky little things. But overall, I thought it was a very good movie.
I can't wait to see it. All right, some more news here. There's a flash cart coming for the Switch, and I did say flash cart.
Yep.
So go ahead and have your victory lap there, Turbo Sean. The MIG Switch can load up games from backup files on any Switch, it's claimed. So right now, if you want to run backups or legal games on your Switch, you're going to mostly need that first generation of Switch before the battery upgrade. And that battery upgrade almost specifically happened because of piracy from Nintendo, or that was a big part of it. This flash cart, basically, they're saying you could put it in any Switch with any firmware, and you'll be able to load up your games. Now, it seems like it's like you load up one game at a time, and then you need to like reset it and load up a different game. So there's no like a user interface, at least as it is right now. But this is a first gen version of one of these. It'll probably improve over time. The point here is, though, it's happening, and I think pre-orders go on sale soon. Nintendo, clearly getting ready to move on to their next hardware, but they're not going to be happy about this. Although, the fact that they were able to keep it from happening for so long is pretty impressive. When
It's
you
actually,
think, yeah. Because the
It's
DS had
amazing.
one like in year 2 or 3 or something like
Yeah.
that. So
Right, like Nintendo handhelds, and this, it's a handheld, sure.
Yeah.
Nintendo handhelds almost always have a flash card out within the first year
Yeah.
or two. So the fact that here we are at the end of the Switch's lifespan, it's just now getting to it. So yeah, they really did crack down security outside of that one vulnerability that was NVIDIA's fault at the beginning of the Switch.
Yep, exactly. So we'll see what happens here. I do like that these things exist once these systems get like depreciated and or deprecated and they're no longer in use. And it's like, okay, I just want to have my one thing that has all the games on it And
Right.
there's ways to do that, like the 3DS. I did the 3DS hacks or whatever.
It's good for preservation. People can say whatever they want, but I ain't buying, like an old Pokemon game for like loose cart $120 or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, like no, I'm gonna pop in a flash cart or like homebrew my DS and then just play it that way because I shouldn't have to give money to a third party just to feel good about myself. No,
Yep.
I'm gonna play these old backups that are completely out of circulation. And so, these things, yeah, they might be used for piracy in the near term, which is always unfortunate. But in the long term, it's important that the type of technology exists.
Yep. And we'll see how this actually comes out and works once it's out there. Who knows? It could be a really bad experience and actually not be for most people, but we'll see. Last couple of stories here. 2024 is Mother 2's 30th anniversary. That's Earthbound. According to the website, to commemorate the 30th anniversary of Mother 2, which remains in the hearts of many people in the Mother series, we are planning a lot of fun in 2024. That probably just means merch. It probably doesn't mean Mother 3 that everyone's been asking for forever. But maybe. I mean, listen, I don't think the chances aren't zero, but they're pretty close to zero, I feel like, with Mother 3 these days. I don't know.
It's close to zero.
Any Earthbound fans amongst you? I've tried it a couple times, and I see what people like, but I never stuck with it.
I think I'm exactly in the same boat.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I respect this is like a cool
Yeah.
take on like a JRPG, but it's still, wasn't for me.
Yeah. And then finally, Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door has been rated for the Switch by the ESRB in America. It received an E for everyone. The game doesn't have an official release date yet. They just said 2024. They might have said like a time of year, but they said 2024. Being rated by the ESRB suggests it's probably coming pretty soon. So we'll see. That could be like announced in a direct either this month or next month. Probably happen a little bit later, or they could just announce it in a YouTube video or a Twitter drop at any point. So we'll see. But I am excited to go back to the Thousand-Year Door. So we'll see what happens there.
I'm looking at the descriptions for why it received the rating. What is it? Is that a typo or is it really meant to say no interactive elements?
I think that's for like the fantasy violence might not have interactive elements. I think.
Got it.
I mean,
Yes.
yeah, it does. You're like timing A to like hit things with hammers.
No,
Wow.
but I think Grubbs is talking about like cutscenes. Like there's nothing, right? Is that?
I mean, this is how they put it in the SRB.
weird?
Yeah, so I'm not sure why they would call it, and this is in quotes, no interactive elements. This is because it says mild fantasy violence and mild suggestive themes and no interactive elements. So I don't know, maybe that
Oh,
is.
so that's probably
Yeah.
a formatting thing. It probably
Yeah.
means like mild suggestive themes with no
Yes,
interactive elements. Yeah,
Something
no hot coffee in the Thousand-Year Door.
yeah, unfortunately. That does it for the news, though. Backler, I'm gonna hand the show back over to you.
All right, I will take it from my hand and put it in my pocket, and we will take one more break. Back with emails right after this. Stick around. There's one thing I did have over the break that I hadn't in a while, and I feel like you'll enjoy this, Dan. I had soda.
Really?
Oh,
I drank Dr. Brown's black cherry soda. Do you know Dr. Brown's? Do you guys know what Dr. Brown's
I
is?
get the pepper.
You got Mr. Pepper.
This
There's like
doctor.
Both
off-brand
doctors. They're both doctors.
is this like an IPA of sodas? Is that what?
No, I think it's the only place you can really find them. I feel like is in delis, like East Coast delis.
Okay.
It's a purple can, and it just like brought me back to a real weird place. I don't know. Like,
Wait, so was this like a full-on sugary soda?
Oh yeah, this is like sugar ass like Marlboro Red version of
Ooh,
soda.
all right.
That'll fuck you up if you're not
You
used
know?
to it, man.
Yeah.
I haven't had
I
that
was
in
not.
20 years.
It's
Yeah.
made me do things I was not used to doing.
I'll do
But-
a Mexican Coke on Christmas Day. I didn't do it this year, but in the past I've
There
done
you
that.
go.
That's like
Yeah.
Treat yourself.
yeah, because
Those
the
are
real
nice.
sugar, yeah, all that stuff. It's really
Yeah.
tasty, and it comes in the glass
You
bottle.
know, Jeff, I am glad that you brought this up because I actually had something that I wanted to discuss with Dan very quickly here. It's on topic. Dan, did you see the Mondu news today?
No.
For the 20th anniversary of Baja Blast, it will be in stores year round 2024.
Oh
Well,
wow!
here's the big question, because Mountain Dew is notorious for announcing a bunch of awesome sounding flavors that I'll never have because they don't have zero versions. So they occasionally will do like Major Melon Zero. They've done the Live Wire Zero at one point. Will it have a zero version?
Well, I mean, they did in stores this
when
past
Taco Bell
summer.
did
So
it.
I assume I don't see any details here. I assume it's going to be base Baja and zero sugar year round.
All right. If they do it right, then I will add that to the rotation very regularly. That's great. That's great to hear.
Yeah,
Make
I
more
love
versions of every soda.
Oh yeah,
I'll buy 'em all.
clearly, yeah.
Yeah,
Jesus,
good.
they're just passing money up.
I'll invest in my own aspartame. I'll do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you get that?
I got
You gotta
to
go to like a chemical
go.
company or
Gotta
something?
From the
Aspartame guy.
plant, you know,
Yeah,
just squeeze
from
it
the
out.
Asper
Straight
plant.
from the plant?
Yeah.
From the ass plant?
Sure, yeah, that too. Yeah.
I'm hoarding ass plants. All right, it's the emails time, folks. Got some emails that I believe I'm just gonna assume Jan Ochoa in bed somehow
Could
curated
be.
these, unless Grub, you did this.
I did not do this, but I can grab them if these ones aren't up to date, or we can just answer the same emails again. Who's going to
I
stop
think
us?
they're up to date. Are they?
I have no idea. Let me look right now.
Is it the New Year's resolutions one?
No, this has to be new ones
Yeah,
because
these
this
are
talks
new.
about this Christmas.
Yeah, they're
right?
new.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. All right.
Fantastic work.
Thanks, Jan.
Thanks,
Hope
Jan.
you feel better, Jan, and thanks, Jan. This one comes from Jeff from Quebec City. Hey, gang, New Year's resolutions are upon us. What was the successful? Tell me if I'm doing this again, by the way, because I have no idea. What was the successful change you did in the past, and how'd you do it? What was your one secret trick? Anyone ever go through with one of these?
I mean, the
ridiculous
one
things?
successful thing is right on topic of what we were just talking about. It was stopping drinking soda. And I stopped drinking all soda for a very long time. And then when I go out to eat, I will have a zero and for like special occasions. But that was my wedding. I wanted to lose some weight for my wedding. So I stopped drinking Coca-Cola and full sugar Dr. Pepper. And it was the one time where I could remember like, oh, this is a change I'm actually going to be able to stick to because of that.
Yeah. And that will change your fucking life.
Oh, it was yes, it was time.
Yeah.
It was definitely time. When I traveled, that's when I traveled to. I think it actually was Amsterdam. I said Iceland last time, and then I went to Amsterdam and I had all those Pepsi Maxes. That was after I stopped drinking the pop, and it's like, oh no, this is like tearing my throat up because there's so much acidity in it. And like I needed to stop doing this. I'm getting too old.
It's if you are a soda drinker and you're looking to maybe lose weight, like I've said this a million times, after college, I stopped drinking soda and lost 27 pounds.
Yep.
But were you just drinking like full sugar sodas?
I mean, I
Like, did
wasn't
you ever have like a
going-
diet or zero period?
No,
or
I
anything?
hated zero. Zero wasn't a thing back then, but there was obviously diet, and I just never drank diet. I was like, I'm going all the way with real ass soda. But I was probably maybe having like 2 a day. but still, like it is
I mean,
so many calories.
You're
and so
drinking
much
like what,
sugar.
like 400, 500 calories there, and
Oh,
it's not
yeah, you
making
just get
feel-
one of those like standard like gas station bottles of like Mountain Dew or something. It'll be like 240 calories. It's
Right.
insane. I've never understood why anyone drinks full sugar sodas. That's
Well, you're a
nuts.
kid and you didn't know any better. That's what happened to me.
Oh yeah, no,
Exactly.
as a kid, I definitely did. But I mean, now that we know, and we, you
Yeah,
get
I'm-
older, and you got to count calories a little more. It's like that's so many.
Oh, I'm to be clear, more pissed at my parents. Like upset with my parents letting me drink soda as a child.
Yeah,
The fuck's wrong with you?
that's like one of the big things. Is like apparently I'm like, I'm not gonna really like ever really
Right, get
introduce
some
them to
hooked.
full soda.
Yeah, it's like a
no way.
legal drug, basically. Like you just
Yeah.
get hooked on it. Listen, I have my own problems with like caffeine and whatnot.
Sure.
Whatever. But sugar actively like makes me feel like ass afterwards. Like I feel so bad now that I've almost completely cut out. I'm just drinking water, the flavored waters, your LaCroix, Spindrift style stuff. But yeah, I can't do full sugar sodas anymore. Even a diet soda is a bit of a stretch for me sometimes. Where it's like even that I'm like, there's so much stuff in here. Like just give me a water and then I'll have like my sugar-free Monster a couple times a week and that's it,
Yep,
dude.
water with every meal.
Guarantee for the first 20 years of my life, I had way more full sugar soda than I had water, and it probably wasn't even close.
Probably
Yeah,
the
I
same.
believe that.
And I was even
Wild
like, it
amount,
wasn't
thank.
ever a thing I thought about. Never even considered it. But
Yeah.
yeah, probably the
Yep.
same.
Yep, just take down a whole 2 liter in one sitting, no problem.
Yep, always a 2 liter
Yeah,
in the fridge.
thinking about it gets me pretty upset.
Yep.
So I'm not gonna do that anymore. Any other New Year's resolutions that anyone's trying to hold on to or do or have had past success doing?
I find that like whenever it's not necessarily a New Year's thing, but whenever I've like gotten too heavy and I'm like, okay, I need to lose like, 20, 30 pounds or whatever, I will set some rules and stuff and then I can do it. But then once I kind of get to like a good spot, then I'm very quick to kind of go back to old habits and stuff. And I find that when it has worked, it's always been due to routine and like just getting yourself used to that. Like not being loosey goosey where it's like, oh, I'm going to try to work out every day. And sometimes it's 7 a.m. Sometimes it's like, oh shit, it's 7 p.m. and I haven't worked out yet today. Like I need to like set a routine. So like now I'm trying to do like 7:30 to 8:30 every morning. And that tends to work a lot better for me.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true for everybody. The backsliding, it's just
Mhm.
Yeah.
it is universal. It happens to everybody unless you are militant about it for your entire life.
Mhm.
That's the one thing where I would like a Dan ass solution to, where like if I could just get a machine that works me out for me, I would like
Well, I
to do
mean,
that.
you can do a lot of like little things. Like, I mean, even like standing distance and stuff. Like, you're burning, it's a little thing, but you are burning more calories standing than you are. Like, I'm thinking about getting like an under desk, like a foldable treadmill or something, just so I can get some steps in while I'm down here. So,
Oh,
yeah,
dude,
little things.
it gets worse than that, though. I mentioned before the show that I had some, random local channel on just as some background noise. And one of the ads I absolutely hate on there is that they have this thing where, like, it's like a, the stationary bicycle. What do you call those? Is that an elliptical?
no,
Just an
an elliptical is a
exercise
different
bike?
kind of
Yeah.
machine.
Yeah, well,
There's like a
whatever
Peloton
one of
type
those.
thing?
Peloton
Yeah,
now.
whatever that type of thing is. They have one of those that is motorized, so it moves your legs for you, and they're like, it's
Oh
gonna
my
work
God.
out. You're not gonna exert anything. I'm just like, that is bad.
Well,
Like, what are
people
you
I've always
doing?
loved that dream of like, you like remember like the old like 50s ads for like, oh, you just like,
Yeah,
it's got
the
this like towel
rubber
thing that
band.
like goes around, and
Yep.
it's gonna shave off your
Right.
wrist.
one of
And it
those
causes like
things.
internal bleeding or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to put the work in. Yeah.
Yep. Totally.
Dan, you done the cross country skiing yet or what?
We just got the first snow and it's like a dusting that's going to be gone
Oh.
very soon. We've been waiting. We want to.
I forgot to tell you this. Okay, I went skiing over Christmas, and I saw these freaks going up the mountain the wrong way. You want to do cross country, which is not this. I think this is like snowshoeing, but I saw
Sure.
people literally like climbing up the mountain in their skis with their poles. And I was just like, is this what Dan's going to do? And my immediate thought was like, there's no way Dan can do that. And then the second thought was, is this also what you want to do? You don't want to do that, right? You don't want to climb up a mountain.
Well, I mean,
You
there's
wanna go
inclines
across.
and declines. It's also not a mountain. It's like, it's
No, I know, but
like
like
the trails and stuff that I'm
right, when I
go
saw
on.
people doing that, like these people were like, they clearly looked like, the winterized version of a marathon person, right? Like they
Mhm.
were, I just couldn't believe I was like watching someone climb up a mountain with skis, and I was just like, that's
No,
the worst
no.
way. It's way easier going the other way.
Oh no, the
What are
place
you
near
doing?
me is just little inclines and declines. Like Minnesota isn't super duper hilly around here, so yeah. Definitely not up a mountain.
What about snowshoeing? That seemed like that would maybe be something that I would do. Where
That's
like,
what
you're not on
Jan said
skis.
he did snowshoeing. He
Yeah,
might have
it's
been
just
working
tennis
me, but he said
rackets
he
on
liked
your
it.
feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck with that. What else? Any other resolutions, or are we moving on?
I'm the boring one. I just never have them. This whole backlog thing is like the first time I've ever stuck to anything.
Yeah, I never do them either because it's just like I don't know. I'm not. I don't judge people who set them.
Definitely.
But it's not for me.
If I need to do something badly enough, I just do it right away. I'll wait until January 1st to start.
Yeah, like
it.
on February 3rd, I'm gonna stop smoking for my New Year's resolution next year. Of course, is what I'm gonna do.
Although I am 1 year away from the age my dad was when he decided to start smoking, so maybe I'll set a New Year's resolution for next year to start smoking at the age of 40.
I hate that fact so much that like
It's incredible.
Delete it from my head.
Insane. Yes.
Dude, once
should
I
be
heard
studied.
that, I learned everything I needed to learn about your father.
Yeah.
Nick from Australia writes in, "Hey Bomb Squad, I love the Euro Truck Simulator 2 and American Truck Simulator games from the Czech developers at SCS Software. As I've driven well over 1,000 hours across the two games' maps, I've noticed my European and American geography skills have gone from being unable to find prominent countries and states to finding individual cities on Google Maps by just zooming in from a global view." Show off. This got me wondering, has any of the GB staff noticed any improvements in skills they learned at school, or were they meant to learn by playing a game? So have we ever learned anything from a game? I think is what the
Right.
what
I
the-
mean, something you were meant to learn, but you
everything I
actually learned
know-
by playing a game. Yeah.
Everything I know about the Cold War is from Metal Gear and Rocky.
And very accurate at that.
Yeah. Like they didn't even try to teach us the Cold War in school, or like any, like they touched on World War II, I think briefly, but like any like historical war type thing is all from video games.
Yeah, I mean that's true for a lot of that stuff's true for me. Video games and movies. I learned a lot more from that stuff than I did in school. But that's just because a lot of my teachers weren't very good. It was a big part of that. But I don't know. I in terms of skills, I don't know if there's any skill that like comes to mind necessarily that I learned.
Right?
I mean, I guess I get more confidence doing things like when I had to when I was moving my house and I was putting everything in a big truck. It's like, well, I like games with big trucks, and I felt more confident about using it because I had spent so much time doing that. Now, not many of those skills translated one to one, but I definitely felt like I am familiar like with this cockpit. I am familiar with how this truck is supposed to move generally, and so kind of taking things slow and letting it like letting the skills translate where they did. I think it just kind of gave me a jump, a little bit of a head start there, but nothing like a hard skill or anything like that.
I think just through so many, honestly, like a decade of playing drums in Rock Band, like I very loosely know how to play drums now. Like I've sat down at my friend's drum set. I'm like, oh, I can recreate what I learned in this game once he like taught me, you know, like how it correlates to like the different types and like this a hi-hat and yada yada yada. So I can do like basic stuff there. I think that might be the closest I've ever come. But I did want to ask, since I haven't played it, Grub, Chance of Sonar and learning language, is that like legit? You think you are better at that
again
skill?
it gives me the confidence that if I were immersed in a place with a language that I would be able to do that. And that's something like I have done before when I worked at Burger King, and it was like it was all these guys from Mexico that I worked with, and it was like basically one other English speaker, and he sucked, so I talked to the Mexicans a lot, and they taught me a ton of Spanish because I was immersed basically. And so it's like recognizing that in the game it worked the same way, and like, okay, that's a skill that wasn't just coming to me because I was 16 or whatever at Burger King. It was something that my brain actually can do that again, and Chances of Sonar is a gamified version of that. But you're not going to take any like, okay, I've learned something in Chances of Sonar and now I'm better at speaking languages.
Right, it's just the ability to like approach that more.
It is practicing the same skill set and recognizing that you can use those things once you get into those situations.
Okay.
It would be sick to have a game teach you another language, though.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
someone
I was thinking
tried.
about that. Yeah,
Someone,
Yeah, I don't
someone
know.
has tried or no one has tried.
Well, no, I've seen them on like Steam and stuff. Like I don't know how effective they are, but
They're
just
DS
like,
games and stuff.
Yeah,
Right,
like
definitely.
learn Japanese to play a simple RPG.
Oh,
There
yeah,
are games like
Duolingo's
that. I don't know.
gamified for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gamified, but like you need hands-on, right? Like you need to be.
I bet if you like played 1,000 hours of Grand Theft Auto with it set to a different language, I bet you would come out the other side with like a pretty decent amount of understanding.
think
of
that makes
language.
Sounds like a
that's
new
right.
feature.
I think that is
Fuck,
something
that
you
doesn't sound
hear
like a great
people.
idea.
That is something you hear about people who learn English as a second language, or like I
Oh,
just
yeah,
watched a bunch
They
of
watch
television.
TV. Yep.
Oh yeah, like I hear all the time in the Pokemon community from people who are English as a second language. Like I picked up English through Pokemon because it's such a simple game. Back in the day, I did eventually just associate words, and you do learn through immersion. Like I'm part Mexican, and so the Mexican side of my family, I just sort of, I don't know Spanish like fluently, but I'm just taking it in enough that I'm like, I know loosely what people are talking about. I'm like, oh, I know this word and this word and the syntax there. Okay, that makes sense. So you do learn just by being immersed in something.
Kevin
Yeah.
Owens credits Jim Ross as announcing on Raw as the way he learned English.
Really?
He wants so much. Kevin Owens is a wrestler, and he was from Quebec.
Yeah.
And he just watched Raw all the time growing
Right.
up, and he credits like he learned English from Jim Ross.
Jesus
So,
Christ.
slobber knocker was his first
Yeah,
word, I'm sure.
Hey, however you can get it, right?
Yeah.
There was a period when I was going real hot and heavy on Stardew Valley that I did have the thought a couple times. Like, I wonder if I'd like ever just retired from games, if I could just maybe I'd just start a farm. Like, it seems like I've learned a lot from
Yeah,
Stardew.
I
and
think it'd be
I
like-
think real like shoot farming's probably a lot harder than
Oh,
Stardew.
definitely. But like,
Yeah.
if you were to like, let's say, so you did Stardew Valley. Now, if you did Farming Simulator, that would get you a little bit closer to understanding
Sure.
what actually goes into it. And then, yeah, you could probably take something from there and like have the general shape of what farming should be like. I think that's
Yeah,
kind
or
of
like concept of like I didn't think about like the seasons being like, oh, this fruit grows in this season. Like Stardew taught me that, so
Yep.
I'm closer than I was before Stardew.
definitely.
I've been thinking about this the entire time. I have not learned one goddamn thing from any game ever.
That's probably fair.
Like what? Right? Maybe honestly, the worst. I take that back. The worst thing I've learned is just like the names of guns. I've
sure,
learned
yeah,
about
I
that.
like I understand
Yeah.
like some
M1
ammunition.
Garand because I played
Yes.
Medal of Honor.
I know what a Desert Eagle is because of Counter Strike.
Yeah.
I've learned all the wrong things from Call of Duty.
Right?
That's definitely true. Yeah.
Mhm.
Great. Learned all the worst possible things.
But Metal Gear teaches you that war is bad.
Oh, okay.
Did it teach you that?
No, I think that's probably common sense.
Okay.
But I mean, it really drives it home. Like, oh man, this is like.
Wasn't until I
bad.
played Metal Gear did I realize,
Yeah.
you know what? War's bad.
This
But,
like
but the
sucks.
P90 is really cool.
Oh yeah,
but
oh,
the
yeah.
M4 is fucking dope.
Yeah.
Christ. All right. Thank you, emailer. Next up, H writes in, hi, Bombcast. I recently picked up Shadow Gambit, and it got me thinking, who gets the money when you buy a game from a defunct studio? It looks like Mimimi
Me.
was independent, so who is now cashing those Steam checks? Will the devs actually see any of the money from sales post studio closure? That's a good question.
That's a great question.
It's going to be
That's
different in
top-notch.
every situation is going to be different. My assumption here for a studio like Me is that there is someone who set up the bank account and the relationship between the bank account and Steam, so that when those funds get deposited, they go into a certain bank account. And I mean, there's a chance that all that money is just sitting in that bank account for that person. The more likely scenario is there is an understanding, there is a contractual agreement that like as that money continues to come in, it still gets dispersed to the stakeholders who were involved in that studio.
Right. Like, regardless of how loose it is, there is a rights holder to some degree. Like, even if it's an unofficial thing of like, well, I was the head of the studio that was independent, so I guess it goes to me now. Like,
That's what I was assuming, that someone has to essentially own the closure, right? Like,
Yeah.
like someone, it has to default back to something, to some entity. So
Yeah, I mean,
imagine-
yeah, it's and it probably is. I mean, they paid the people to do that work. That money was always supposed to go to them. That's how this often works. So if they're getting that money, it's just like, nope, that's working the way it's supposed to.
That goes back to like what I was talking about with buying retro games and why it's like silly to have a moral high ground when it comes to buying those old games. Because like nobody who worked on those are seeing any of the money on that.
I mean, or think about like what's happening with music right now. Like all these older artists selling their catalogs to these fucking companies that are
Taylor, dude. That's why she's re-recording, because she's like, I'm not seeing a penny of this, and I have some of the most popular music in the world. That is stupid.
Yeah, but like Dee Snider from like Twisted Sisters, like I made a lot of money. I sold my entire catalog to some company. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, I kind of don't care if that company gets paid for that music. So that this is pretty silly at this point. But yeah, that same thing will happen to games eventually.
Wild. All right. Finally, Josh the Canadian writes in, I was gifted an analog pocket this Christmas, and now I'm on the hunt for the games I played as a kid. Talk to Dan. No, I'm kidding. That's what I did. No, this is new territory for me, and I was shocked to see so many reproduced fake games. These fakes seem to have amazing reviews and are a fraction of the price of legit used copies. For example, a legit copy of Pokemon Red is over $100 at the indie game store near my house, but there are reproductions for under $25 all over the internet. Is there anything I should know before diving into this world of nostalgia? Legalities aside, are reproduced games safe to play? Any guidance would be greatly appreciated. Man, so going into Analog Pocket with no plan seems like quite the task.
Well, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
I as I got into retro collecting and everything, I got hit a couple times by like early on being like, wow, normally Harvest Moon 64 costs, this much, but I found this one that, it's got good reviews and it seems legit. And it arrived and it felt glossier. It felt like it was just the card.
Weird.
And I was like, I've held a lot of 64 cards in my life, and this feels off, like the weight and the kind of shininess to it and everything. And it happened also with a Smash Brothers cart once, and it was the same type of thing. And there's a lot of resources out there to make sure you're getting the right thing. The one that I watched that I credit with learning a lot is Kelsey Lewin from the Video Game History Foundation put up a video, I think specifically about 64 stuff, that she showed off like, okay, the dot on the eye on Nintendo on the back of the cards is like on legit cards, it's like more of a square, and if it's fake, it'll be like more round, and just other ways that you can just kind of like tell on old NES cards and everything. Like she runs down a lot of that.
Now, it bothered you that you got fakes, right?
I mean, yeah, I don't. Yeah,
you want the real deal.
The
That's
like
part
legitimate games,
right?
Yeah,
sure,
yeah,
sure.
I mean, they run like that Smash Brothers will run in a 64, but
like, did you pay the appropriate price, or were you paying less?
I was paying less, and like that is something I learned early on too. Is like, look, your retro collecting is enough of a thing right now to where like the odds of like, nobody bought this and I got it at a steal, like not going to happen on eBay. Probably not going to happen even on like Marketplace, because people are like scouring Marketplace all the time and they'll scoop stuff up real quick. Outside of like getting real lucky at a garage sale or a flea market situation, you're probably going to have to pay close to the price that you see on like pricecharting.com.
So here, the reason I asked that is the Josh the Canadian says, is it safe to use? Like, he still seems interested in playing these repro carts. I always say collecting games is different than playing games. So if you're here to collect games, and if that's the joy you're getting out of this, go after the real deal thing. If that matters to you. If it's just about playing the games, go get the jailbreak for your Analog Pocket. Go get the cores. Actually, you don't have to jailbreak it; like it's built right in. Get the cores for the Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, all that stuff, and just get the ROMs and install it on an SD card and play it that way. Don't even deal with all this stuff. Because as we said earlier, the money's not going to be going to Nintendo if you're buying these secondhand games or the repro carts. So just don't worry about it so much. There's ways to get that stuff going real easy.
I actually didn't even see this email we were going to be reading. I was talking about all that before. But yeah, if you just want to play the games, honestly, I always think that the best combination is original hardware, or in this case, Analog Pocket is, FPGA basically is original hardware, even better in many ways, and combining that with like a flash cart. So like, if you want to be like very simple and you for whatever reason want
for the Analog Pocket specifically, though, I recommend against the flash cart because
exactly, because that's what I was going to get to. It doesn't need it. Like if you were doing this on an original, for any other system, like for an N64, let's say, buying an EverDrive 64 and loading up that with ROMs, if you just want to play, that is the best way to do it, I think, because then it plays like it originally does, but you don't have to spend all that money. That being said, this person does specifically say you're on the hunt for games you play as a kid. I've looked into a lot of this stuff as well. I have followed this for a long time. I will say you actually do need to be careful buying quote unquote fake games. Like actually carefully made reproductions are generally good, but if you're buying like the super cheapo versions, those sometimes can incorrectly receive voltages and stuff that could damage the game. It could damage your system. That actually is a bit of a sketchy area to go down. So I would say avoid any sketchy stuff. Like actual like
Agreed.
highly recommended repros, you'll find those in certain places if you do a little research. But otherwise, yeah, try using the resources that we said to find the real deal, and you got to pay for the real deal. But if you're a collector, man, that's worth it too.
Yep.
Someone in chat just said, and stay off Temu.
I got a number. You type in the Temu and you can see some naked ladies. Apparently,
for real.
Yeah, I'll send it to you later. Absolutely.
I guess that's interesting.
That's what that TikTok scammer's like. Here's a thing that's going to get banned off TikTok in a second, but here's a naked lady, and if you put this number into Temu, you can see more of her.
Weird.
And it's like
so weird.
I assume that you put the number into Temu, and it's like someone's getting money somewhere for.
What the fuck is Temu?
Yeah, how have I not seen this before?
Yeah.
Temu's like do you know Wish.com, like the bad website? Okay, it's like a really bad eBay or a really bad Amazon with a lot of sketchy bullshit stuff.
Okay.
So when someone makes a joke about, like, back in the day, would have been like, oh, you got like the Kmart version of it, or like the cheap version of it. Today it's like Temu, but it's way worse than Kmart ever was.
Founded July 2022. Oh, this bodes real well.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Temu seems like for whatever reason, it just sets off all the wrong alarms.
Oh, because you're
right away.
You're right. Yes.
It's like
a Medusa Lover in chat says it's a pyramid scam. I never even considered that, but now that I think about it, the way that I've seen it interact with me before, that seems right. It probably is a pyramid
even
scam.
the TikTok shop feels shady to me, but it's like local stores I know are selling on there. I'm like, I can just like go on there and buy stuff through them. TikTok will take a percentage off, and this is a really weird
TikTok
thing.
is quickly turning into QVC. Like, it's happening that. It's like every other video is like trying to sell you something from the TikTok store. And it's like, this kind of sucks now.
Like, it's wild.
From Instagram once and got scammed. It was a neon WCW sign that got advertised, and it's the one time I tried to buy anything off Instagram, and it just never got sent.
That's
why my credit card company.
Like, the markets and stuff.
But that's been the most successful way that Instagram has proved to be like monetizable, right? Is all the store junk and that's seems.
Speaking of which, giantbomb.com/store. Wait, is that right? Is it store.giantbomb.com? Which one?
No, what did you say?
T-shirt.
Store.giantbomb.com.
Yes,
I said the wrong thing.
Store. We're also gonna have new stuff heading there. I want to say sometime this month. There will be new stuff, and maybe if you didn't get to go to a certain thing in person, you'll be able to get the thing that people got in person later, if that makes sense. Just chew on that for a little bit. Hey, everyone listening, happy New Year to everyone. Thank you so much for sticking with us through all of 23. 24 is shaping up to be an even better and brighter year, so we're very excited about what's going on over here. Thank you so much for all the support. Hopefully Jan Ochoa is able to join us next time. Hope he's feeling better. Thank you. Oh, we didn't do the, I just realized we didn't do the shout outs. That's okay. That's Jan's thing.
Yeah, it's Jan's thing.
You know what?
That's Jan's thing.
I'll give a shout out because I do want to give a couple of big shout outs. First, shout outs to anyone who submitted a list for our little end of the year roundup thing where we have a bunch of guests.
Except for Adam Cole, we didn't know the activities he was involved with. We would have said no to Adam Cole had we known his nefarious
we officially
deeds.
apologize for that, actually.
Yeah.
But we do have just a crap ton of lists, top 10 lists that you can go look at on the site right now from everyone's staff. I think Nikki's going to get one in there. They're the last person remaining. But then a bunch of guest ones as well. And also huge shout outs. I do want to say a huge shout out to Marino for doing so much of the heavy lifting on that and
all the work.
Putting it all in the system, formatting it way better than me and Grub could, apparently. Because
I deleted like 15 pictures from the CMS because I didn't know what I was doing with deleting stuff. Yeah,
but yeah, that was also of him to help us out on. So yeah, big shout outs there as well. Much love.
Yes. Thank you so much, Marino. And thank you to Dan Riker, Jeff Grubb, and Turbo Sean. Object Backlog will be back with a brand new Bombcast next week. Until then, we'll see you later.